everybody. It is me. It is Cheese. And all of you, we are here together on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. We appreciate all of you coming on board with us here. We have got a jam-packed show for you today. Of course, we're going to start out with the Flamin' 5 and 5. Then we're going to go and talk a little bit something different, because I think we had bad football the last 2 weekends, and I don't think Cheese agrees with me, but we're going to discuss it. Then we're going to jump into our baseball talk, our college football, and then, of course, we'll conclude everything with the NFL. But right after that, we'll do our top 10, and we will be doing that on the actual teams from this past season, the season that just concluded last night in college football. So we will give you those top 10 teams. Cheese, how you been, buddy? I know it's been a frustrating day for you, bud.
It hasn't been the best day, but you know what? I'm just ready to talk sports. Be a nice distraction.
All right. So for those of you who don't know, let me put this out there real fast before we get going here. Cheese's X account got hacked, so we're not broadcasting on that X account tonight. We don't want to get everything hacked. It's bad enough that the poor guy's X got hacked. We don't want everything done that way. So we're going to be a little more precautious. We're going to do a few things less tonight, just to kind of make sure that nothing else happens here. So shoot the trolls. Shoot the trolls. Okay. All right. But
yeah, so anyone on X, if I'm DMing you, posting anything like crypto, that's not me at all. Do not engage at all.
No. Cheese can barely spell crypto, so don't think he's trying to sell it to you, because he's not. So yeah, anything that.
Yeah, I probably don't know how to spell it. Not a crypto guy. I never got into the crypto thing. Never. No, that was never for me. That's not my thing. No.
Right. Sports is our thing, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why you are here, and that's why we are here. Lights Out Sports Podcast, right here and right now. All right, guys. I tell you what. Let's go ahead and jump in to this Flamin' 5 and 5. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit in the background. Oh, wait, we got a comment. Let's go there first. Okay. Whatever. Okay. Already starting. Fantastic. Can't wait.
I am the cheese now.
Right. I am the captain now. All right. Let's keep going here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into this Flamin' 5 and 5. First, let's explain it. So, I give Cheese 5 minutes, and I give him 5 questions. After we do the 5 questions, then we'll see if he blows up or not, or if he can answer all 5 of them before that 5-minute ticker comes off of the board. So, Cheese.
Yes.
Oh, man. I don't know what these people are doing. Can you see the comment? You can see it, right?
Just bought 1,000 of cheesy coins. Thanks for the heads up. Oh. That wasn't me. No,
it wasn't. It really wasn't. Like we say, this is.
Oh, crap. Hang on one sec.
Yeah, you're good. I guess it's good enough, and we know we're popular enough now that we're getting all kinds of crazy trolls, and we're getting all this other stuff. Poor Cheese got hacked today, so I mean, I guess it's sort of a good problem to have. I mean, this is crazy. All kinds of nut stuff. So. That's okay.
Cheese boy. Yes, I'm Cheese. You're cheesy boy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I appreciate that. We appreciate you like the content.
Yes, of course we do.
Sam, really funny. He's a funny dude.
Oh, yeah? Did I just do something that I wasn't supposed to? Because I just... Hold on. So do you know that person?
Yeah, it's Sam. My friend Sam.
Oh.
No,
Sam, I'm sorry.
Not sure. Not sure who that is.
I thought that... Hang on. Let me see if I can undo that. Oh, man. I just banned him. So I'll see if I can unban him here in a moment. I didn't realize it was one of your friends.
Oh, no, he was joking. He wasn't really buying the crypto. It was a joke.
Okay. He was joking. I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry, Sam. I'll see if I can get you back on. I didn't. I was like, man, no, we are not doing this tonight. So my apologies, sir. I don't know if I can get you back today at Sam 9010. I'll work on it here. and we'll see what you can do.
I've never played Minecraft in my life. Cheesy boy.
Whatever. We don't care about that stupidness.
I don't. It's not my thing.
Well, as you see at the top, Lights Out Sports. The football is there. The baseball is there. We are here, and all of you are too. So let's get this thing going. 5 Flamin' 5 and 5 will begin when I read the first question. Let's see here. Football. Let's see. NFL, and NFL/college football at the end. So here we go, Cheese. The question is, are you ready?
Yeah, probably not.
Nah, why not? We're going to give it a shot anyway, though, right?
I have breaking news before we start, though.
Oh, let's do it. What you got?
Packers are interviewing former Arizona Cardinal head coach Jonathan Gannon to be their defensive coordinator. They're interviewing him. So it's possible. They're interviewing a lot of people. There's a rumor they're interviewing like 8 or 9 guys already. So,
well, but that's what you want, though, as a Packer fan. You want them to interview as many people as possible, get the right guy, and do it that way, right? Instead of just like zeroing in on 1 or 2 guys.
Yeah, sometimes it's just pretty obvious who the guy is, but yeah, might as well. It cannot hurt to talk to 8 or 9 guys. So yeah, might as well.
All right, excellent. Okay,
yeah.
So
I think I'm skipping a little bit.
Yeah, that's all right. We got you, buddy. We got you. Here we go, bud. 5 Flamin' 5 and 5. Question number 1. Mike Vrabel was hired 373 days ago and is now the longest tenured coach in the AFC East. What does that say about that division?
Well, it says that there's been some struggles lately, so they need to switch coaches. Yeah, Miami hasn't been good. They had a bad year. Jets, they haven't been good in 15 years. And, yeah, the Bills didn't have enough playoff success. They couldn't get over the hump in the playoffs. They couldn't, get to the Super Bowl. So it's the second. There's 2 divisions that lost 3 coaches. The AFC North did as well. We'll talk about that later on the show, the AFC North coach situation. So, yeah, some divisions are just weaker than others.
Here we go. A lot of this stuff today for the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5 is just some stats that I'm going to throw out there because you know how I love them. And here was the second one. The Broncos are paying, now think of these guys real quick. Stidham, Nix, Harvey, Sutton, Franklin, Bryant, and Ingram. All of those guys, a combined $31.7 million. Yet they're paying Russell Wilson $32 million. What does that say about the Broncos and some of the contracts that they've done over the past few years?
It just says all about Russell Wilson. I mean, most of those players are on some kind of rookie contract. Ingram isn't, but they just missed on Wilson. They missed with the draft picks. Seattle knew when to get rid of him at the right time. And it's just amazing that they're, one of the best teams in the NFL despite that. But that was the biggest dead cap hit at the time in NFL history. And they were just hoping he had something left. And a lot of teams are just so desperate for quarterbacks. They will, like the Browns did with Deshaun Watson, they'll trade and pay money even if they're past their prime. The Falcons gave Kirk Cousins $180 million for 4 years. They were desperate. He had 1 playoff win. So, yeah, it's just desperation.
All right, buddy, let's talk about another playoff team. We've already talked about Mike Vrabel and the Patriots. We just talked about the Broncos. Let's switch to the Seahawks. So the Seahawks have lost 3 games by 9 points, and they have won 15 games by a combined 235 points. Cheese, explain to me that crazy discrepancy.
Well, it means that Seattle is beating up on the bad teams they play. They're not, coasting. They're not doing the Packer way. They're beating bad teams and blowing them out. And, they took advantage of the 49ers who had tons of injuries. They had them at home. And it also, let's put it this way. Seattle's good on offense, good on defense, good on special teams. They're just good at every phase. So I don't know if they're elite, any of them, but they're just really, really good. And so that's why they're the number 1 seed in the NFC.
All right, excellent. Question 4 of 5. Here it comes. Andy Reid has 13 years as an NFL head coach. Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay both have 9 years apiece. Zach Taylor, and believe it or not, Matt LaFleur have 7 years apiece. And the other 27 head coaches in the NFL have 5 years or less as a head coach. So, Cheese, what does this say about the state of the league right now?
It says they don't give head coaches, most teams, most owners don't give head coaches very long. You have 3 to 5 years typically. Yeah, we know some coaches only last a year or two, but most of them go at least 3. You got 3 to 5 years to turn around. Even if you don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter. You have to win, and that's who gets the blame no matter what. Sometimes it's justifiable. Sometimes coaches get fired immediately, get another job. You know, it's like, wait a second, you fired him? It's not his fault. But for some reason, we'll talk about this later in the show, but general managers seem to get longer, and head coaches, it's like you got to turn around quickly. You got to start winning. And even some coaches will have one bad year, all of a sudden you're fired. They're good. One terrible year. Oh, you're gone. It's crazy.
All right, buddy. Last question. You got about 40 seconds left. Tell me which one of these is more telling. The average age of the 2025 Indiana Hoosiers is 23 years old. The average age of the 2024 Green Bay Packers is 25 years and 1 month. Which one's more telling?
I actually think more telling is the college one because they're letting players get 6-7 years. And I think that's a problem. I don't think you should be able to, once you're 24 years old, you should be 25. You should be able to play college football. But we can talk more about the Packers and their youth later. But I don't think that's the biggest Packer issue at all.
Ooh, there you go. He got it. 1 second left, ladies and gentlemen. He does it again. Look at him go. All right.
I didn't think I was going to make
some of these comments possibly over here. Let's see.
Did not think I would make it.
All right. So, no, not yet, but maybe. It seems like everybody else is getting fired. So,
since you banned Sam from YouTube, he goes on X and.
Hey, I gotta love him. Again, Sam, I apologize, buddy. I really do. It was all me. I'll take all the blame.
What was his comment? What was his comment again?
Had the Jets fired Aaron Glenn yet? That's what it is. Yeah, right here.
They're going to give him at least another year, but it was bad. It was bad, but the Jets got to get a quarterback first. But a lot of Jets fans did want Aaron Glenn fired after 1 year because of all the close losses.
So now, for those of you who don't know, Cheese and I, we text each other and stuff back and forth, especially while a lot of the games are going on. We did, I was on X, he was on X last night during everything in the college football playoff, and then we were talking back and forth with each other and everything else. It was a really great game last night, but I don't think it's been great NFL playoffs, and Cheese doesn't really agree with me. Cheese, let me throw you a couple of things out here to where I'm going to take up my stance that says, no, this has not been very good college football playoff over the last 2 weekends. First of all, C.J. Stroud, he had a passer rating in this weekend's game of 28.0. If C.J. Stroud would have just spiked the ball every play, he'd have had a higher passer rating. He'd have been 39.6 instead of what he actually did, 28.0. That's awful. That's terrible. That shouldn't be anywhere near playoff football. Go ahead. I'll give you a stage for a minute, and then I got some more.
Well, as far as Stroud goes, he didn't have his best receiver. Almost all the other receivers are has-beens or just rookies. And the offensive line's bad. And the weather wasn't great. Look, it was awful. He was awful. There's no doubt about it. He was terrible. But it's not like he got a ton of help either. So I get what you're saying. Some of these games, there's been a lot of bad turnovers, a lot of bad quarterback play. But a lot of these games have been really close. There were 2 overtime games over the weekend. So it's still entertaining, except for the Seahawks 49ers was just over from the beginning, just like that. It was 17-0. Like I turned around with 17-0. But most of the games are been pretty close. What was that comment?
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, I missed that last comment.
Oh, that was just high. Unless you mean this one. Did you miss this one?
Yeah. What's McDaniel? No one. He doesn't want the job. Why would anyone want that job?
Right. Anyone.
They're going nowhere. Their cap situation is awful. They have no quarterback. They have no offensive line. They have no receivers. It's going absolutely nowhere. They're not going to want that job.
Okay. Cheese doesn't want that job.
I don't.
I mean, I'm glad you brought up
it's not just that Andrew Berry's the GM. He's done a terrible job. No coach wants a GM that drafts that poorly year in, year out. So,
right. I'm glad you brought up the pitiful quarterback play, because that's what my next point is going to be here, is why I think this has just been terrible games over the past 2 weekends. Stroud, 5 interceptions, 5 fumbles into 2 games. Even Drake May, 2 interceptions, 6 fumbles into 2 games. Caleb Williams, your favorite quarterback in the world, 5 interceptions, 1 fumble in 2 games. Yeah. Even Brock Purdy, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles in both games. And Josh Allen, the guy who we think never does anything wrong, 2 interceptions, 3 fumbles in 2 games. Jeez, I understand that a couple of these games have been close. And I know that, everybody's like, oh, defense wins championships and all of this kind of stuff. And that's kind of what has caused some of the stats that I just rattled off to you. But to me, that is boring. I want to see these teams score. These teams are supposed to be the best teams in the NFL, and very few of them, besides the Seattle Seahawks, have actually looked like it. But yet you still say they're entertaining, and I disagree. How are they so entertaining to you?
And so they were so entertaining. I'm still enjoying the playoffs, but okay, I'll say this. It's weird. Stroud, May, and Allen all did such a good job not turning the ball over in the regular season. That's what's so crazy. Like, yes. The Bills were that team that just they had a stretch where they had 1 or fewer turnovers for so many games in a row. So it's really surprising. And yeah, some of it's the weather. Some of it's good defense. I think the craziest thing is the Steelers did absolutely nothing with all those turnovers with Houston. Nothing. They still couldn't do anything with them. I mean, that was bad. The Steelers offense was so terrible. I get it. There was a 16-3 game. Chargers offense was bad. You didn't mention Justin Herbert.
No, I didn't have to.
Yes. I get it, but a lot of these games are still close. They're fun. The Jaguar-Bills game was fun. The Broncos-Bills game was fun. They're going to overtime. So we're still getting a lot of close games, but I get what you're saying. And if you are worried about quarterback play, Jared Stidham's going to start one of the games.
I know. We're going to get to that later too. This is supposed to be the playoffs, people. I'm honestly, Cheese, I'm like this close. I put a tweet out there earlier. We put some of our stuff up that we did last week on our baseball segment, and I threw them up there during the college football playoff because, man, I'm just so ready for baseball. I'm like this close to being checked out of football. Just bring me spring training and let's go.
It's such a shame because Bo Nix, Drake May, same quarterback class, second year. One of them's going to the Super Bowl. It's like, it would have been such a good matchup. I would have loved to see that. And we're getting Jared Stidham versus Drake May. And the Patriots had one of the easiest schedules ever, the easiest schedule in the NFL. They faced Justin Herbert with no offensive line. Then they faced C.J. Stroud, who couldn't just turn the ball over 100 times in the game. Now they're going to get Jared Stidham. They might walk into the Super Bowl. It's like they might have one of the easiest schedules of all time and one of the easiest playoff schedules of all time. So we'll see what happens. We'll preview that. By the way, on Sunday, 2 hours before the game, we will go live.
Oh.
And we are going to preview both games. Mm-hmm. And Mike's going to be so excited talking about Jared Stidham. And we'll start with the AFC game, then we'll preview the NFC game. We'll talk for 42 minutes, well, probably an hour. And we'll break down some matchups. We'll do predictions. So make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel and hit this. By the way, hit that. And hit notifications so you don't miss the video in case you forget. But we'll go live about 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific.
Right. And then we'll take you right up to the kickoff of the first game. I'm sure you know what the first game is. I don't know which one's first. So
it's Denver, New England.
Denver, New England is first.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And that is in Denver, right?
It's in Denver. Bo Nix, unfortunately, I guess he broke his foot. On what play, we're not sure. We've heard different things, but
I'm pretty sure it's that play right before when he gets tackled really hard in the back, right before they score. That's where it looks like to me. But
there's even people saying he hurt it on the kneel down, which is really crazy. I'll tell you right now, I would have picked Denver if he was 100% healthy, if he was playing the game. But now I don't know who I'm picking. I don't know who I'm picking either game. But I'm looking forward to Rams Seahawks. But anyway.
And I tell you, I've got some great stats for Rams Seahawks, by the way. You know how much of a stat person I am. I love them, and I'm getting ready to do that. So I've got a bunch of stuff already put together for that. I can't wait to share all of those with all of you on Sunday morning before the kickoff of the first game right here. Lights Out Sports Podcast. Stick with us on that Sunday morning. All right, I want to give you another stat before we jump into college football here. We're going to do that first, then we'll do our MLB, and then we'll do the NFL at the end. I don't know if you saw this or not. You probably haven't, but oh my gosh. All right. You know the 2008 Florida Gators won that national title. Urban Meyer coach team, really talented team, won it all. But 41 of those players since 2008 have been arrested.
I know. I saw that stat.
Oh,
Tim Tebow was on that team. Tim Tebow was not one of them. One of them murdered. One of them's a murderer, and he's dead.
All right. Well, let's just, before we dive into this real deep, let's not put people in the bathtub and slice them open or anything before we get into our college football playoff, right? So here we go, buddy. Let's start the music and let's get everything going right now. Buddy, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Of course, there was a big game yesterday. I think it was like for a national title or something like that, possibly. I can't remember. But we got a lot to talk about, a lot of different questions that I want to ask you, a lot of things to get to. So let's go ahead. Let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get into it first. First question I got for you, buddy. Winning the college national title, it got Cignetti a $2 million bonus. And he earned roughly $14.675 million this season. And per his deal that he signed with Indiana, it's now required that they have to negotiate his contract, and in doing so, make him one of the top 3 average coaches as far as money goes. So that means he'll make at least $12.5 million this upcoming season. Here's 3 questions on that. First one. He's been a good coach for 2 seasons, Cheese. Does he really deserve to be a top 3 coach in the NFL after having 2 good seasons? Come on now. Aren't we jumping the gun here a little bit, buddy?
You mean college football?
Yes.
He's not been good. He's been incredible for 2 seasons.
Okay.
What he's done from this to take this program, one of the worst Power 4 programs ever, and to make them in the playoff last year and then win it all 16-0, beating Oregon, Ohio State, Miami, Alabama. This is incredible. Absolutely he does. I know it's a small sample size, but he just won the national title at Indiana. Absolutely. He probably should be the highest paid. Because you're not just getting recruits like you do at Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan. Yes, I think he's the best coach of college football. It's incredible how well prepared that team always is, game in, game out. How consistent, how efficient they are. So absolutely, you should be a top 3. Do you disagree?
Yes, I do. It's you said it. It's small sample size theater. Come on now. It's like saying that you and I can't improve on this show because we've been doing it for a few months. Come on now. We can certainly improve. We're doing it every day. We're trying new things. 3? We're doing different stuff.
He just won a national title.
I know he won a national title, but he's been there for 2 years, Cheese.
Yeah, and he won the national title in 2 years at a program that was 3-9 3 years ago.
So he should get more money than Ryan Day.
I said top 3. I didn't say more than Ryan Day.
Okay, so then he should get more money than Dan Lanning.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What has Dan Lanning won?
He's been in the college football playoffs just as many times as Indiana has in the last 2 years.
And lost and got killed by Indiana.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Got killed by Ohio State. Got blown out in both games. Never a game. Just saying. He hasn't won anything.
I'm not taking it away from you. Yeah. I just don't know. I mean, Dan Lanning's been there for a while.
3 or 4 years.
Okay.
5 years, something like that.
All right. He's been longer than 2.
I think maybe you could argue Ryan Day and Kirby Smart, but that's it. I mean, I don't know anyone else that deserves to behave more than Cignetti.
But so let's do the NFL. You're the NFL guy. Are we going to make Mike Vrabel the highest paid NFL football coach? He's had one really good season.
He hasn't won the Super Bowl yet. Let's see what happens if he wins the Super Bowl this year.
So if he wins the Super Bowl, you're okay with making him one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL?
Yes, because he did really well with the Titans. He actually got them to the AFC title game, which is amazing because the Titans are usually terrible. So yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, I'm just giving up now. For those of you in the comments section, I know you guys will be on this one. Jump in. Tell us what you guys think. Does Kirk Cignetti deserve to be one of the top 3 highest paid coaches in all of college football after a great 2-year run, but still a 2-year run in college football? Secondly, Fernando Mendoza is most likely to enter the NFL draft, but most of his team will remain intact for the 2026-2027 season. Yet, BetMGM only have given Indiana the 5th best odds at plus 800 to repeat as champions. There's 4 teams in front of them: Ohio State, Notre Dame that didn't even make the college football playoffs, Oregon, and another team that didn't either, Texas. Because they are the current champs and didn't lose a game, shouldn't they be the favorites, Cheese?
You know what those teams have in common? Their quarterbacks are coming back. Indiana's is not, if he goes pro. So,
he will.
He is going to. Yeah.
Yes.
He's very likely to be a Raider.
Poor guy.
I get it. Quarterback's most important position. And I hate to say it, but it is Indiana. It's not Ohio State or Oregon.
Now, aren't you talking up both sides of your mouth right now? Oh, it is Indiana. But Kirk Cignetti's wonderful. I mean, come on now.
No, this is from the bet. You said BetMGM. From their standpoint, they're thinking this is Indiana. This isn't, Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, those kind of things. That's what they're thinking. But 5th best, I get it. I have them a little higher probably, but the other schools, their quarterback is coming back. I think that's the main reason. Although they're getting good transfer quarterbacks, so I expect Indiana to be one of the best teams in college football next year.
Okay. All right. So speaking about that, right, this is one of the things that we're going to get into here next. My computer logged me out of the notes that I've got here. That's a fantastic job. But now it's going to take me a second to get back into them here. I apologize, but I want to make sure we get everything correct and we go down through. All right. So what should we expect from Charlie Becker in his junior season next year? Let me give you a few stats here, right? He only had 34 receptions this year, 679 yards, and only 4 touchdowns. But I swear to you, his catches seem to be absolutely huge. And just as a side note here, he did average 20 yards per catch this season. So, Cheese, what do you think we can expect from receiver Charlie Becker of Indiana next?
Well, he's like 6'4", 6'5", and so he's just so good at contested catches. When in doubt, Mendoza would just chuck it up to him. But one of the reasons he didn't have the amount of catches is because he really was their number 3 receiver. You had Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt were more their number 1 and number 2. They just had 3 really good wide receivers. So I think Cooper and Surratt, I think they're going pro. I think they have to. They've been there a while. So Becker could be the guy next year. He could have a big year. He gets 70, 80 balls.
Okay, and do you think he's going to live up to the hype?
We'll see. He's got to do more than just go up and make contested catches. He's got to, run the whole route tree. He's got to step up. He's got to step and be the guy next year. So, yeah, I think he can. We'll see what happens.
Man. Okay. My
you hear me?
computer is like lagging
Oh.
behind here. So I apologize. So, okay. We've talked about Indiana. We've talked about Mendoza. We've talked about Becker. We've talked about that team as a whole. Let's talk about Miami a little bit. The team that finished second, of course, in this college football playoff. Now, Cheese and I, at the very end of this show, we're going to rank our top 10 college football teams based on the season that just concluded. Stick around for that. We'll certainly do all of that. And we're going to do it different for a change because I think we're going to have the same number one. We might even have the same number two. So we're going to start 1 and 2 and then work our way down to 10. I don't know about you, buddy, but as I got closer to 10, it got kind of harder to choose the teams and in what order I wanted to put them in and stuff like that. So I think this will be an interesting list once we get to it here after our NFL segment. So, Cheese, when we look at what's next for Miami, could the next quarterback of the Hurricanes be Alberto Mendoza, the younger brother of Fernando Mendoza? He entered the transfer portal just as Fernando did, and Miami is his hometown. And Indiana actually landed TCU quarterback Josh Hoover in the transfer portal. So I don't think he's going to get anything there at Indiana. But you got some breaking news on this from what I understand. Tell me what's going on with young Alberto Mendoza, sir.
I saw on X that before I was hacked, that he is going to be going to Georgia Tech. So he's going to be the quarterback there for the Yellow Jackets next year. So he's not going to Miami.
Okay. And I did also see that Miami is chasing the BYU quarterback. In fact, they're saying that they'll give him $10 million and that they'll pay off what he would owe NIL-wise to BYU besides the $10 million. So they are going after him extremely hard.
I think their big target is Darian Mensah from Duke. I think that's who they want. They're going to go to their alumni, Michael Irvin, whoever, and Ray Lewis, and just say, write a blank check. What do you want, Darian Mensah? This is one thing I hate about college football is Miami. They made it to the finals. They might be able to just go out and pick their quarterback and write a blank check. And I hope that he does. It's a shame, Duke. I'm no Duke fan or anything, but it's a shame that Darian Mensah isn't just staying at Duke, and it ends up at a rival like Miami. That would suck. But I think that's who their target is.
Well, I mean, it's the whole money grab thing. That's what everybody's doing is going after the money. So.
So many players are going to end up 4 schools in 4 years or 5 schools in 5 years.
Yeah. I don't like that part of it more than anything else. Okay. I didn't know if you froze there for a second. I wasn't sure if you were still going to talk or not.
It completely froze.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
You're back with us. We're good, sir. So
I was froze for 10 seconds.
That's all right.
Man, I don't know what. Sometimes the connection is just bad. I don't know why.
Yeah. I don't know why either. I'm not a tech guy. I don't know. You're lucky I'm doing the backgrounds, for us and everything else here. So
I even plugged into the Ethernet just to plug in to make sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, buddy. Okay, but we'll still keep going. It'll be fine. We'll get through it. That's the thing that I hate about most of it. These guys are chasing the money, but they're not chasing their education. Supposedly, the whole reason they're in college is to get the education. But as like you just said, if you go to 4 different schools in 4 different years, you're probably not putting a value on your education, right?
No, it's nothing to do with education. A lot of these big schools, they don't even go to class. They show up the first day. The teacher has an agreement. They just give them a B. So I know a couple, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to, I've known some friends who went to those colleges and went to class with the football players, and they know. Mm-hmm. They've told me I'm not going to, and some of those coaches are still coaching, so I'm not going to shout them out. But it really isn't. It's about money, and it's about football. And it's a shame because they could, no matter what, you have a chance to get a degree. It's not everyone gets this opportunity. Might as well take advantage of it. And there's no guarantee that you're going to be this NFL star. You might get hurt and never be able to play again, and you have that degree to fall back on. So it's really such a shame.
But I also think that's one of the reasons why these guys are chasing the money so much is because it's like, okay, I can go here and make $2 or $3 million. I can go there the next year and make $2 or $3 more million. By the time I'm done with my college career, I got $6-8 million. I'm pretty sure you can live off that for a while, buddy.
But they'll spend it. They won't. They're going to think it's someone that young. They're not good at handling money. Most of them will just spend it and think it's going to keep going. A lot of them go broke. A lot of people that get instant money end up broke. You hear about NBA players, NFL players every year. You hear a few that are completely broke. So, yeah, if they have smart people and they invest it, they'll be fine. But a lot of them, they're going to spend it.
Right. And investors that won't embezzle half their money, right?
Yeah, no, if guy's name is Bernie Madoff, do not engage.
Correct. Do not. All right. So again, looking at what's next for Miami, we talked about Indiana and their odds to win the national title next year. Let's talk about Miami's. Miami is 40-1 to win the national title. So I've got two questions for you on this fact. You can take whichever one in whichever order you want. Do these odds seem logical to you? And why in the world do we care about odds like this the day after the national title game?
Oh, the odds is they do it because, one, it's something to talk about, and two, people are going to bet. They're going to bet the day after. It's a big betting day. It's all about money. What was the first question? I've lost it.
What do you think 40-1 is a logical place for Miami to be next year for this college football title?
Well, Miami's going to lose a lot to the NFL. They're going to lose Reuben Bain. They're going to lose Francis Maui-Goa, the right tackle. God, he was so good in the game. They're going to lose Akeem Messidor, the other edge rusher. They're going to lose Keontae Scott, the corner. Assuming these guys all go, I'm assuming they will. They're going to lose Carson Beck, the quarterback. Some Miami fans might be happy about that. Right. But CJ Daniels, wide receiver, they're going to lose a lot. So that's probably why. But still, I expect them to be higher than 40-1.
So speaking about people that they're going to lose, this is a great segue for us. Mark Fletcher Jr. has supposedly said that he's coming back to Miami for his senior season. But after his 112-yard on only 17 attempts and 2 touchdowns in that national title game with a season of 1,192 yards on 216 carries with 12 touchdowns, which, by the way, is a really high 5.5 average yards per carry, do you think he should go back to Miami, Cheese, or do you think he should declare for the NFL draft?
Well, before the game, I would have said declare for the draft. But then he punched an Indiana player after the game was over, and that's the last memory of him. I mean, maybe the Bengals will draft him because they draft running backs that punch people, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's that's what I'm going to remember him for. That is what I'm going to remember him for. I'm not going to remember the great job he did against Ohio State. I'm not going to remember all these other games he played well. I'm going to remember that he punched an Indiana player after the game. You know, Miami, they had this reputation of being thugs. When I was a little kid, they were the team that always got arrested before Urban Meyer's Florida. They had so many arrests every year, and it just looks terrible. So, yeah, I would advise him now to come back after that because that's the last thing you'll remember of him.
All right, so I know your social media got hacked today, so you may not have seen everything. Do you know why they're saying that he went after the Alabama player?
The Indiana player. I do not know. We don't know what was said. But yeah, he just slugged him in the face. So we do not know. I don't even want to speculate. Who knows what was said? It could have been something that started before the game, during the game. I don't know. But no matter what, keep your composure. Do not slug someone in the face. It's terrible.
Right. And I'm not saying I'm going to tell you what I think it is, what I read 2 or 3 different places that also the same thing. So I am going to speculate on a little bit. I'm not saying and condoning the fact that he did it, but if the Indiana player said something negative about his father who recently passed away, I can see an 18-year-old kid letting that get, the best of him and going after the guy. Again, not trying to say it was the right thing to do. I'm just thinking he should probably go to the NFL draft now, especially with this not being a real high draft class on running backs, right, Cheese? I mean, this is your domain.
Oh, so weak. This is one of the weakest running back classes I have ever seen.
So he could probably go, top 3 running backs? If nothing else, top 5 running back, right?
Top 5 for sure. Maybe even top 3, yeah. I think he'd be behind both Notre Dame guys. I don't really have my notes handy, but yeah, right. He would be up there. He would be top 5. Okay,
excellent. So now,
but did he come out and say it, or is it just a rumor? Did Mark Fletcher say it?
This is what the where I read it from was that's what the I believe it was the athletic director of Miami came out and said.
If that is the case, then Indiana should suspend that. I believe in freedom of speech, but Indiana should suspend that player and just keep.
Yeah, we're crossing the line there, right?
There's certain things. Talking trash is one thing. That's not okay. So hopefully that's not what happened. But we'll see.
I'm sure it'll come out more in the next few days, but that's kind of where I was at, what I had heard. So I wanted to bring it up here on the Lights Out Sports podcast with yourself, Cheese. And buddy, since I'm bringing it up with you, why don't you bring up your social media platforms with everybody else, even though you're not sure if you want them to go to your Twitter right now. Tell us where your YouTube's at so they can go over and get your videos there.
Yeah, I'll just say this. Twitter support takes forever to get back to you. Yes, so you can follow me on YouTube. It's at Football with Cheese. Cheese spelled like on the screen, Cheez. And like I said, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss one of my videos. I just did a video all about Indiana today. Been doing a lot about the Matt LaFleur situation. And pretty much every coach that gets fired, I do a video. I want to do a video, but I was fooling with my ex. But I'll do it tomorrow about Robert Saleh and the Titans and why I think it's a good move that they hired him. So that will be tomorrow. Look out for that.
Okay. I like it. I tell you what, I watched your video today where you talked about the Packers and how they're all kind of buddy with each other. The coach, the general manager, and the owner, right?
The team president is the de facto owner, yeah, because they don't have an owner. But yeah.
What you said makes a lot of sense. If you're a Packers fan, you're listening to this right now, you need to go over to Cheese's channel and make sure you hit that video and watch it. It's really good insight. I think a lot of it made sense. When I first saw the headline, I was like, oh, here we go. Cheese is going to be a crazy guy and go all nuts about his Packers team again. But after I started listening to it, it's like, oh, yeah, well, don't laugh. You know it's true. So after I listened to it, I'm like, yeah, you know what? This makes sense. And I completely agree with him. If there's no accountability in an organization, it makes it really hard to run it the right way. So go over to his channel, listen to that video, and then stick around and do the Indiana video. We'll post it right here on our X account, which is All Gloves Off SM on our Twitter account. We'll post it right after the show. Cheese, before we crown Fernando Mendoza like the quarterback king, right? Because everybody's jumping on this bandwagon, including me. I took a picture last night of the screen when he was talking with his mother and the father, and that. I'm going to talk about that here for just a moment when I get to it as well. But before we crown Mendoza like the king of kings here in the quarterback world, when we talk about a national championship, he did well last night. And I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but let's also not crown him the king. Joe Burrow, when he was in his national title, went 31 for 49, 463 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he had 14 carries for 58 yards and another touchdown. Mendoza last night, just to give you some comparison, he went 16 of 27 for 186 yards, no touchdowns through the air, and he had 7 carries. Even though one of those carries is one of the best moments in all of college football this year, he still had 7 carries for -8 yards and the touchdown that he scored. So let's not crown him king quite yet.
Well, the rushing stat, they take away sacks from rushing yards in college football. That's why it's negative. Otherwise, it wouldn't be.
Right. And look at this. I enjoy the cheesy takes. Yes. I think we all do, sir. Lord Chrisman NFL, right? Yeah. All right. Fantastic. Thank you for doing that. We appreciate it. All right. Let me give you some other notes here as we talk about the game from last night. Just get your take on some of these. The 1,047, that's the number. 1,047. Put that in your brain. I'll say it one more time. 1,047. The number of offensive plays that Indiana went without a fumble this season. They fumbled one time in the first quarter of their first game and then never fumbled again. They went 1,047 offensive plays and never fumbled the ball.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I talked about that in my video as well. It's almost impossible there's bound to be a time where someone punches it out or just as you're going down, you bump into something. It's pretty incredible. They just don't turn the ball over. They take care of the ball. And when you do that, especially if you're as much talent as they do, you're going to win games.
Right. We talked a few minutes ago how I thought it was bad football over the weekend because of all the turnovers and the interceptions and all of that. And that's why I loved this college football season, especially with Indiana. And there were some other teams that did really well as well. But I just liked the college football this year better than I did the NFL. Let me give you another stat here real fast. And then I've got one final question for you before we move on to our MLB 4-pitch talk. Here's the stat. Before being hired at Indiana, Kirk Cignetti made roughly $3.5 million over 41 seasons as a head coach in college football. That's it.
It totally. I have no idea what you said.
No,
Sorry, it just completely locked up.
That's all right.
All I heard was 3 million. I got 3 million.
All right. So I'll repeat it again because I want to hear your take on this. This is an interesting stat. So before Kirk Cignetti was hired in Indiana, he made roughly $3.5 million total over his 41 other seasons as a head football coach. $3.5 million total in those 41 seasons. And now all of a sudden this past year he gets $12 million. Well, I mean, is that perseverance or what, Cheese?
Yeah, some of those he was an assistant, so it wasn't always a head coach, but that's pretty incredible. I mean, it took him a while. He's 64 years old, so he did not, really become really head coach at a big program until 2 years ago, until he was in his 60s. So yeah, he just went through, and he was Nick Saban's wide receiver coach and recruiting coordinator for Saban's first 3 or 4 years. So he just went through and built it up, and it just took him a while. And great hire by Indiana.
So you're not calling James Madison a top 10 program or anything like that yet?
No, they should not have been in the college football playoff. It's pretty obvious.
Right.
Because Oregon didn't even play well in that game. They still beat them easily.
All right, William, we appreciate you as well, saying that Cignetti comes from humble origins in Western Pennsylvania, which is where your alma mater is, and you're glad to see him do well, as are we. Like I said, Chiefs, one last question for you, then we're going to move on to MLB 4-pitch talk here. Do you think Indiana will be a flash in the pan, or do you think they'll be a legitimate contender for the next decade?
I think they'll be a legitimate contender for the next decade, as long as Cignetti stays there. If this is his last stop, I mean, he's 64. I hope it is. He's not tempted by the NFL or somewhere else. But yeah, I think they will, because he's built up that program. They should be very good next year too. So yeah, I think they're a legit contender. What about you?
All right. So I'm also going to look up our poll question here. We put it up last night during the college football playoff. Now that college football playoff is over, will any of the NFL teams with open coaching positions call on Kirk Cignetti? That's what we asked. We can do yes or no. Cheese, would you vote? Yes or no? What'd you think?
I voted no, because he's not going to take it. He's 64. He's not leaving college football. He's not going to even listen. Why would he? Especially some of these jobs are so bad. So, yeah, I can talk a lot about that. But I went no, but I think the other one won the poll. Real quick, I'll just say this about Mendoza. He's poised. He's a leader. He's smart. He throws it on time. He's decisive. He's accurate in the pocket. And I think he's going to be very good. But he is not the prospect Joe Burrow, Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck. He's not on that level. I honestly think if he was in the 2024 class, he would have been in the Michael Penix Jr., J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix range, more so than the Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. I don't think he would have been higher in fourth. Like I said, he's so poised, though. And I don't think he has a cannon arm. He's decent athlete, but not anything like a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL. So I think he's going to be good. I don't think his ceiling is like super high, like top 5 quarterback, but he's a no-brainer pick if I'm the Raiders. I mean, he's such a great leader, and he's going to they're going to respect him as teammates like from the get-go. So I think it's a no-brainer pick.
So, I mean, I think we're pretty clear that he's going to be the number one pick, right?
I would be shocked right now if he wasn't.
Okay. Would you call? I'll help Lord Christian out here, or Crimson. I'm sorry, Lord Crimson 2. I'll help him out a little bit here, and I'll ask you this: is Fernando Mendoza going to be a generational quarterback?
If he's on the Raiders, probably not. God, I don't know. Like it's just so tough to evaluate quarterbacks. I thought Sam Bradford was going to be like a top 5 quarterback. You know, I thought Carson Palmer would be one of the best ever. You just never know with quarterbacks. But I would take him if I was the Raiders. Obviously, soon you do your whole due diligence. You look at all the prospects,
of course,
and you listen to offers just in case. But I think the Raiders have to get a quarterback. So I just think it makes total sense.
All right. So, yes, on our Lights Out Sports podcast poll question, you are correct, Cheese. The yeses outdid the no's, 63 to 37%. So they believe that someone, one of those NFL teams that has a vacancy, is going to call on Kirk Cignetti before it's all said and done here. So
he might have already gotten calls. We don't know. He might have already gotten calls.
That's true. He's certainly not going to say that.
I think it's a waste of time.
College football stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt calling. I think it's a waste of time, though. He's not going to NFL.
All right, so we'll answer some of these questions later on. We will get to our football segment. We love you guys all asking these questions. We'll save a couple of them here because Cheese and I can tell you last week we kind of got derailed a little bit answering a whole bunch of these questions. So we do want to answer them, but just in the spot to where we're going to be at. So once we get to all of that, we will certainly.
Yeah, I'll go over that in the NFL segment. But there's a few candidates I like.
All right. Excellent, buddy. I appreciate that. We are going to, of course, give you the 4 down territory here. Our MLB segment is next. And as you know, we got to give it to you right. We got to do the music. We got to give you what a lot of people are saying is the best graphic in all of podcasting. And we'll show it to you here in just a second, right after we start with this. All right, so there it is. One of the best graphics in all of podcasting right there. That thing is pretty darn cool. A lot of people like it. We get a lot of different votes on it all the time. We're going to talk about the Atlanta Braves. We're going to talk about catching in MLB. We're going to see who blinks first. We'll explain that one more here in just a moment. And did the Mets do it right when they pivoted to Bo Bichette? So we'll talk about all 4 of those things in our 4-pitch talk here momentarily, Cheese. Are you like me? Are you starting to get that baseball itch, or are you still into football, buddy?
It's not till after the Super Bowl I won't get that itch. But yeah, February, by mid-February, Super Bowl's long over. I will absolutely get that itch. It's like MLB Network wants to show, spring training game, Reds Cubs spring training game. When by the 5th inning, you don't even know who the heck's playing. I'm still watching that game, so I will get that itch, just not yet.
All right, I understand. I've already got the itch. I can't wait for it to come up. And
you've had the itch for weeks. Be honest.
Oh, I have, man. I'm just a baseball guy. You know it. Everybody else that's listened to this channel for very long knows it. I'm the baseball guy, like you're the football guy. So, it's close. It's close. And I'll give you this. Here's how close the itch is, Cheese. The Super Bowl is in 4 weeks. And 2 days after the Super Bowl is when the Arizona Diamondbacks report to spring training camp. Yeah, the pictures.
It's in 2.5 weeks.
Is it in 2.5 weeks? Is it? Oh, it's even closer.
2 weeks from Sunday. It's always 2 weeks after the championship game, so it's 2 weeks from Sunday.
Oh, I'm getting excited. Okay, so like 2.5 weeks away. Daggone. You're making.
Are you talking about the Super Bowl or the?
Do what now?
I lost you. You're
Yeah,
talking about
okay.
the spring Super Bowl.
No, you said Super Bowl was roughly 2 weeks after the
2.5
championship
weeks.
game, right?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks. Okay. Pitchers and catchers report. That's probably about a month away.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, the pitchers and catchers for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and it's different this year because the World Baseball Classic is here. So they're trying to get people there a little early. They work on a few other things because they know some of their team is going to go away for this World Baseball Classic for a week or so, 2 weeks, and then come back. So 2 days after the Super Bowl, the Arizona Diamondbacks pitchers and catchers report. I believe the Cubs do too. I'm not sure about the Braves, but I know a lot of the Arizona teams report on that Tuesday right after the Sunday. So, yes, I'm getting all excited. I can't wait. All right, buddy, you're Atlanta Braves. So the Atlanta Braves got some bad news in the fact that shortstop Ha-Seong Kim suffered a hand injury. He had hand surgery and will miss 4 to 5 months. So I got 4 questions about your Braves here and why, everything that is associated with Ha-Seong Kim and his hand surgery. Now, for those of you who don't know, I guess he was in a foreign country somewhere playing ball there. I believe it was actually in his home of Korea, and he slipped on some ice, tried to catch himself, and in so doing,
sure he did. I don't know if I buy that. I don't know, but I slipped and fell. Come on, he was probably doing something he shouldn't. I don't buy that at all. Slipped on some ice.
That's what the story is, sir. So, I mean, it's like all the inmates get hurt on the basketball court. So, they never get hurt themselves or anything else, right?
I'll just say this: he's always hurt. 1 year, $20 million. The Braves don't like to give long-term contracts to players, to non-young players, to players they extend early,
right?
And so they gave him this 1 year, $20 million. I wouldn't have given 1 year, $10 million because he's a league average bat. Yes, he's a good defensive player, but he's always hurt, and now he's hurt again, and they don't have another really good option. So It sucks.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it here. So they signed ex-Oriole Jorge Mateo to a 1-year contract the day after Ha-Seong Kim got hurt. He's coming off of elbow surgery. He batted .214. His slash line, .214, .253, .362. His career weighted runs created plus is 75. League average is 100, so he's below league average. He did give you 30-plus steals in 2022 and 2023 before he got hurt. And in only 43 games in 2025 before he got hurt again, he stole 15 bases. Mateo has 2,320 and a third inning at shortstop. He is graded as a 13 defensive runs saved and 6 outs above average. Is he the answer at shortstop for the Braves?
Absolutely not. He's a guy that should have been signed to a minor league deal, but because the Braves have to get another shortstop in there, right now their only shortstop's a utility player, so they had to get a shortstop in there just in case there's another injury. 1 year, $1 million. When Kim comes back, more than likely he'll be put on the 60-day DL. When he comes back, Mateo will probably be designated for assignment, and they'll just eat the rest of the contract. It's only 1 year, $1 million. No, he's not the answer. I can't hit.
Great fielder, good speed. You're right. Can't hit.
Cannot hit.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. You said that the Braves have a utility player. I'm assuming you're talking about Dubon. So
Mauricio Dubon, yes.
Dubon.
They got him from the Astros, yeah.
Right.
Got to see him play up close, yes.
All right. So you're correct. He's also on the roster after a trade with the Astros. He has 771 innings, or roughly 106 games at shortstop. He has a 13 outs above average, but he has a -1 defensive run saved. Dubon's career, and as far as hitting, is .257, .295, .374, which translates to roughly 85 weighted runs created plus, a whole 10 points higher than what Mateo's is. So is Dubon the answer for Atlanta at shortstop, at least until Ha-Seong Kim comes back?
No, I mean, he probably will start at shortstop until he comes back. The plan for Dubon was to back up second, short, and third, and to fill in those spots, because that's what he did in Houston. That's why they acquired him. They need a utility guy. Every team needs that guy. Below average bat, but he can play 3 positions. I guess Mateo could probably play anywhere as well. If you play short, like good defense short, you can pretty much play anywhere. Yes. But no, it's going to be a weakness. Shortstop they did not have a plan when Dansby Swanson left. They decided they weren't going to pay Dansby Swanson what he wanted with it, but they did not have a plan, and they still don't. And it's a huge problem. And there's no one in the farm system. There's no shortstop coming up in the next few years. So it's going to be a problem next year when Kim's a free agent. So, yeah, they got to be satisfied having an average at best bat, probably well below average, at least for the first few months. It's a shame.
Yeah, like you just said, they basically have no depth at this position. I mean, the only other player that's even on their 40-man roster that has ever played shortstop is a guy named Nacho Alvarez Jr., and he has not hit much either. So the Braves have Go ahead.
Well, I just say Nacho, he's a decent prospect, but they haven't played him at shortstop in the majors. Correct. He was a shortstop in the minors. They put him at second, and they put him at third when Austin Riley got hurt. They don't trust him at shortstop. That tells you about his defense. So Correct. They don't want him to play shortstop. That's why they made this, or they wouldn't have signed Mateo. So Nacho, he hit for average in the minors. He has absolutely no power, but he can play second and third. But you're right. They just don't have a lot of great options. And it was a really weak free agency for shortstops.
And then this past year, again, not a very good plan by the Atlanta Braves. I know it's your team, but let's just face facts here. The Braves had the least production at shortstop last year of any team in the majors. So do they need to do
left field? Yeah. Pretty bad at left field too.
Yes. I wasn't gonna slap you twice. I'm just gonna do it once, sir. Do they need to do something else, or just stay above water with one of these guys until Kim comes back? What do you think their plan is, and what should it be?
Their plan is to stay above water with one of these guys till he comes back. If he's back in 4 months, you don't really want to go out and sign another guy. Then where do you put him? They only have another spot, even DH spot's not available because they have 2 catchers that need to play pretty much every day. So they're just going to hope it's more like 4 months instead of 5. And if it is 4 months, he will miss, probably the first 2 months of the season at most. But, at least hopefully he's back by June 1st. But they're just going to try to tread water until then. If their pitching stays healthy, they should be okay, even with the Kim injury. But we'll see what happens. If their pitching stays healthy. It did not last year.
Yeah, it's a big if, right? It's a big if. As you just noted, there's no one in the farm system. They got nobody else. They only signed Kim to a 1-year deal. They're going to be in the same boat again next year when all this happens again. So why not just go out and make a trade? Why not just go out and sign a free agent? Why not just take care of the problem now?
There's really no one available. They don't have the farm system to trade. It's one of the worst farm systems in baseball right now. They have one prospect that I think has a chance to be great, and that's Caminiti. And so they don't. It's especially weak at bat. Much stronger pitching.
Okay.
As far as hitters, it's really so. There's really no one out there that I think is even better than Mauricio Dubon. So I think they're just going to roll the first 2 months with him and hope he's at least, league average bat. Probably not.
Okay. Last thing on your Atlanta Braves, sir. The Braves only have 3 more years of Ronald Acuna Jr. They so far have spent over $108 million this offseason. So does that pressure of not having Acuna beyond these 3 years, does it do something to them and make them, almost force them to do something at this shortstop position? Or do you think they've done enough to compete this season, especially in the division that they're in?
How much of the last answer did I lock up on? How much did I miss? I don't know what this connection thing is, but to answer your question, they just need their current batters to play better. They need Michael Harris to play better. And they need Ozzie Albies to play better. They need Ronald Acuna Jr. to stay healthy. They need Austin Riley to stay healthy. They need their players, their current hitters, to play better. They need Sean Murphy to hit better. They need what's his face? The first baseman to return to more 2020 Olsen, 2024 form. He wasn't as good. He took a step back. They just need their core group to play better and their pitching to stay healthy, and they should be fine. They did make a real big move out of the bullpen, so the bullpen should be better. But they need their lineup to play better, and hopefully Walt Weiss, hopefully he does a good job as a manager. I was a little nervous about it, but I like the staff he's put together. So we'll see what happens there.
Okay. Let's move on to our second part here of our 4-pitch talk, and that is catching help is nowhere to be found, Cheese. So both JT Realmuto and Victor Caratini were signed by the Phillies and the Twins, respectively, over the weekend. So that leaves guys like Jonah Heim and Gary Sanchez are the only two real catchers on the open market. Why is catching always so thin in MLB? And wouldn't you think teams would put a higher draft capital on catching if they know it's going to be so bad?
This is something I've talked about with my friends for years. What's happened with catch? You got to think what's happened with catching. Framing has become the most important thing, and then controlling the running game. And teams have focused more on that. We got to help our pitchers out.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people that would have been catchers in the past, Kyle Schwarber 30, 40 years ago would still be catching. Remember Evan Gattis, the Braves? They tried him catching for years. The pitchers complained so much they had to move on from because he was terrible at framing. So because of that, there's just not many catchers that are really good hitters. Like if you have a catcher that's like 95 WRC plus, that's really good for a catcher, even though it's 5% below league average. Now, the draft question is such a good one. There are some teams that have reached for catchers in the first round. Mm-hmm. Almost has been a bust. So if you do that, it could get you fired. If you're the director of scouting, if you're in charge of the draft, because in baseball, it's usually the director of scouting, not the general manager. They're separate. It could get you fired if you just reach for a catcher and the next 3 or 4 picks all being great. So you really got to stick to the best player on your board. So it's tough. It's really tough to find good catching these days. If they go to robo umps, that will change things. Framing won't matter, but we'll see more. We'll see better hitting catchers if that happens.
I think you're right. We'll see better hitting catchers if that happens, but I won't say framing doesn't matter because your framing still affects how the umpire calls it. And if you can get the umpire to call it without having to challenge it, then you can save some of those challenges for later. So,
right, but it just won't be as important. It won't be. Some teams might be like, well, yeah, okay, he can hit like Mike Piazza. Well, his defense stinks, but let's put him back there, So, because Piazza was never a great defensive catcher.
No, but he made it, like you're saying, he made up for it with the stick.
He can really hit, yes.
Right. Yeah. So you've got the Rays, you got the Red Sox, you got the Padres, you got the Astros, and all of them need help at the catching position. At least 3 of those 4 teams are also supposed to compete for division crowns. So what are they going to do with this catching depth that is basically non-existent? And what's MLB going to do as a whole here?
Well, they could call the Braves about Sean Murphy. I think the Braves would like to move him, but they're not going to move him just to his salary. But they're not going to move him just to move him. They're going to want a lot for him because the pitchers love him. He's a great framer. He's just like all the analytics. He's just like top 10 in every category, top 5 in some. Because they have Drake Baldwin, who was Rookie of the Year. But other than that, they're going to have to hope that their catchers that are on the roster just play better because it's just not much out there.
All right. Our third question here in our MLB 4-pitch talk is this. Who will blink first? I've got to set this up a little bit here. So the Yankees supposedly have a 5-year between $150 and $160 million deal on the table for Cody Bellinger. They are supposedly unwilling to either raise the offer, nor are they going to give the Boris client any opt-out years. So, Cheese, do you think it's smart for the Yankees to take this stance and see who blinks first?
Yeah, I think the Yankees, they can't. I think the rumor is he wanted 7 years deal, like over $200 million. You can't give him that. Bellinger's a good player, but yeah, I think the Yankees. I don't know who they're betting. I don't know who they're competing against. I mean, maybe the Mets are interested, but I don't think they go beyond that either. So the Yankees should be like, take it or leave it. I know they haven't made a lot of moves yet, and he's a perfect fit for the park. He should just take it. Like he's such a for their ballpark. The way he hits, I just it's crazy that these Scott Boras clients just want way more than anyone projected that they were going to get.
Now, I'm with you on a lot of what you said, but not everything that you said. You're saying, okay, you're not sure if he's worth it. I don't think Kyle Tucker's worth what he got. I don't think Bo Bichette is worth what he got. We'll talk about him here in just a few moments. So keeping up with this, I'm sure Bellinger and Boras think, okay, they're going to have to overpay for us too. And that's where they're coming at with the Yankees. But the one thing that I will agree with you with is I'm with you. I don't know who they're betting against besides themselves. So I kind of like the fact that they're actually going to take this stand and see what happens. So the Yankees have basically not signed any big name free agents, unless you count Trent Grisham accepting the $22.5 million qualifying offer, and have only spent a total of $29 million so far in the offseason. Again, and that counts the 22 that Grisham got. Are the Yankees trying to be financially responsible for a change, Cheese?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're doing what a lot of teams do. They haven't always done this, is we have a number for these players. And once it gets that high, we just move on to the next guy. But I think Bellinger's kind of been their focus, but that you should never compete against yourselves and just, like, for example, the Red Sox and Cubs were competing for Bregman. They were the two finalists. And the Cubs decided to not only give him a full no trade clause, but to give him $10 more million than the Red Sox. Boom, done. That's what did it. And they had to do that to get him because he probably was going to go back. If they offer the same, he was going to go back to Boston. So, but I think they are being responsible. I know their fans just think they have a blank checkbook and they should just use it and give the players whatever they want. Some of their fans think that way, but I think it's smart. I think Bellinger's either going to have to take that or take a shorter-term deal. And I know he wants a long-term contract. He's taken shorter-term deals, each of the last few years, and he wants something more long-term.
But using your Boston analogy, the fans of Boston are saying, really, we couldn't pay the guy $10 more million? We're up to this point. What's $10 more million? What do you say to those players or to those fans who are like, well, yeah, it's not my money. Just pay him the $10 more million to be done. Let's bring Bregman back.
Well, if you believe the report, they didn't think that the Cubs were going to go that high. They didn't believe Boras that there was a better offer because Boras has done that in the past. He has lied and said he has. Of course he does. He's trying to get him the most money. So they didn't believe it. Because of that, they refused to go higher. And then, boom, he's a Cub. All of a sudden, he's a Chicago Cub. And, as happy as I am he's a Cub, it kind of sucks that he just didn't stay with that team and take a little less. But I think the no trade clause was big for him because if I'm a player, I would never give him out, first of all, ever, if I'm an owner. Not one. But I would love it as a player because I don't want to – you have no control where you get traded to at all, and you have to move, and you might like – you picked a team. This is the team you picked. So I think that was probably even more important to Bregman than the money.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say this, and I'm not going to go on some big tangent about it because I'm going to make a video on this sometime soon. I'm switching shifts at work, and I think it's actually going to allow me to do a little bit more of this. I haven't spoken to you about it because, today was crazy for you as far as your social media stuff goes, so I didn't talk to you about it beforehand. But a lot of people think the Dodgers are ruining baseball, and I do not. I think Scott Boras is ruining baseball, and I'll talk about that in a standalone video that I'll be doing sometime soon. So
I'll just real quick say this.
Sure.
The Dodgers are not doing anything that's not against the rules. The rules in place right now, they're not doing anything that's against the rules at all. So if you want to be mad at the Dodgers, and I don't like it, but they are allowed to because of the current rules, and that's why we might not have even part of the season or whole season next year. But anyway, I just want to point that out.
Jeez, stop it.
Why do you think the Cubs are going for it? Why do you think some of these teams are just going for it? Because Go ahead.
I also think that's one of the reasons why some of these teams are not giving out really long-term contracts because they're scared of what's going to happen over the next 3 years.
Yeah, good. You're right. They might have a salary cap and they might be $30 million over in 2020 already, just the contracts on their books. So yeah.
And just throwing this out there, I don't know how many of you know this, and Cheese, you might not even know this, but you're going to see a lot of these contracts, and you've seen, especially like Alexis Diaz and a few other ones that I can think of in my head here, where they're getting signing bonuses every year for the next 2 or 3 years. And the reason they're doing that is because as of the collective bargaining agreement, even if they go on strike, the players must be paid bonuses by the teams.
I did see that.
Yeah. So they're trying to make sure they get at least some money every year, even if they do go on strike. But I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent.
I noticed that more contracts had bonuses than in the past. I've noticed that. Why. Yeah.
All right. So the Yankees' projected 2026 payroll as of right now is $286.6 million. But that leaves them about $70 million or so before they hit the next luxury tax threshold. So my question to you, Cheese, is do you expect them to stay where they are? Do you expect them to spend more but not reach that 70 million mark? Or do you think they're just going to go all in towards the end here and start picking up all these smaller pieces at the end that nobody's really signing and go over that 70 million mark?
Probably the second one. I definitely don't think the first. It's either the second or third one. I think they're going to spend more. I think they will sign Bellinger at some point. They might go after there's a couple of really good starters left. Framber Valdez. God, what's the other one?
You got Zach Gallen out there. Gallen.
Yeah, so they might go after one of those two, but I think they'll stay under the second threshold. What do you think?
I don't know. It's the Yankees. I think to me it will depend. Well, I mean, it'll depend on if a lot of these guys that are fringe guys start taking 1 year $6 million, 1 year $8 million, then I think you'll see the Yankees go out there and sign 5 or 6 of those guys.
What about
I don't know if the market's going to drop that low.
Have you heard about Luis Arias at all this offseason? He was an all-star a couple of years ago.
Yes.
He was the best contact hitter in baseball for a while. He's a terrible defensive player. Maybe that's the big reason. Most teams have their DH set. And I think the biggest surprise for me, the one player that I thought for sure would have signed by now, because he won't cost what Bregman will, he won't cost what Bichette will, is, help me with his first name,
Eugenio
Suarez. He had 49 homers last year. I know he struggled. We went to Seattle, but just, a team with a, more friendly hitting ballpark, sign him because Seattle, it's tougher to hit there. Yeah. I'm shocked that solid defense at third base. I'm just shocked that he has not found a job yet. Red Sox, go get him. You lost Bregman. Go get him.
Right. So let's talk about a team that did pivot and sign a third baseman, and that would be the Mets pivot to go to Bo Bichette. So for those of you who may not know, the Dodgers outbid the Mets for Kyle Tucker, and then the Mets offered $220 million for 4 years, while the Dodgers made him a 4-year, $240 million offer that he took. So the Mets then pivoted to Bichette and gave him 3 years, $126 million. Knowing the years and the numbers of both of those contracts, either the 240 for Kyle Tucker or the 3 years at 126 for Bo Bichette, which contract would you rather have, Cheese, Tucker or Bichette?
You always ask these questions that are really
I know. This makes for riveting podcasting, sir.
I want the easy questions. I'm going to see, the thing with Bichette is I thought about it's not easy because he has had trouble staying healthy.
Yes.
And when he's playing hurt, he's not as good. And he's not a very good defensive player. Now, Tucker, God, he did not have a good year. There's rumors that he just isn't watching film, playing on his phone, that he's not taking it seriously. Maybe why
I believe all of that, but okay.
We'll see. I mean, there was anonymous Cub teammates, and they didn't even try to sign him. They just kind of wanted him gone. They're like, qualifying offer. That tells me a lot. They did not want him back.
It also tells me a lot when you put the word anonymous in front of your sources, too. I mean, if you're going to give me a source, give me somebody's name.
I'm going to take Bichette. Just because he's such an amazing offensive player. And he can play it short if he needs to. If Lindor's hurt, he can play second. He's a little more versatile in the field. And it's only a 3-year deal, not a 4 like Tucker. So I'll take Bichette. Who would you take?
I'm with you. I would take Bichette because of the last thing you said. It's a 3-year deal and not a 4-year deal. Even if he's awful for 2 of those years, you're off of it after the 3rd year. And by the way, I'm not sure if you guys know about this. Tucker, about half of his deal is deferred, but when the Mets signed Bichette, they did not defer a dollar. Yeah. Everything is paid in those 3 years.
Yeah, they're going to have a high luxury tax, but it's
correct.
What's his name? Steve Cohen, the owner. Yeah, he doesn't care. He's just money.
Right. He's got about as much money as God, so he's okay.
He does, but I do like what the Blue Jays do. I like the Mets. I mean, at least they do go for it, at least as much as you hate it. The Dodgers do. When they make revenue, they spend it back. Some teams just put it in their pocket. So yeah. I get it.
Me too.
There needs to be a max salary or harsher penalties. It can't be too much more than everyone else. But there also needs to be a salary floor. The Marlins can't do what they're doing. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not like if there's one problem and it's the Dodgers, or if there's one problem and it's the Marlins, or there's multiple problems here that baseball really needs to look at and solve. The second part of this Bo Bichette and the Mets thing is, it's a $42 million average annual value. And as massive as that seems, Cheese, it's actually only tied for 6th in Major League Baseball with Zach Wheeler. Did the Mets feel like they had to do this deal because they're the Mets, or because they have to keep spending like the Dodgers, or because the Phillies, you may not know this, the Phillies actually made Bichette a 7-year, $200 million offer that he was actually getting ready to sign before the Mets swooped in and got it?
I think it's more about the Phillies, the Phillies. The Mets wanted a big bat. We know that. They lost Alonso, so we know they wanted a big bat. But yeah, I think the Phillies. They did not want him to go to the Phillies, and he's a huge upgrade at third base over Beatty. So I think it has more to do with the Phillies than anything else.
All right. So Bichette doesn't have good range. You already alluded to that a few moments ago. He has an average throwing arm, which, by the way, is 82.3 miles an hour as he throws it across the diamond. That was last year. So that's below the par in Major League Baseball, but it's actually still an upgrade over Beatty. He does, however, carry a lifetime 294, 337, 469 batting line, which is 20 to 35% better than an average hitter every season except 2024 when he just had a terrible season. Can being an average defensive third baseman and an above average hitter be good enough to not just push the Mets into contention, but push them into contention for a World Series?
Yeah, the Mets have a good team. I think so. Just like the Braves, their pitching has to stay healthy. That was a problem. They missed the playoffs last year. They did underachieve. I think so. I'm not going to pick them, because we will do in March a prediction show. I'm not going to pick the Mets to win the World Series. I'm probably not going to pick them to win the division, because I think there's a team we just mentioned that's better. But I mean, they should be pretty good. They should be pretty good. I'm not worried about arm strength as much at third. I'm more worried about it at shortstop. Believe it or not, their base is closer. It's not. You don't have to have a big arm. I know that sounds crazy, but
you're right.
Ke'Bryan Hayes and Matt Shaw, they don't have huge arms. The best defensive third baseman in baseball, Matt Shaw, was a Gold Glove finalist. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he is a liability. Anywhere he's going to be a liability in the field, but he can really hit. He can hit for average. He can hit for power. He can hit second. He can hit third, fourth, fifth. He can hit anywhere in your line. Anywhere. Probably except first, because he's not a big walk guy, but he's just a really, really good hitter, and Mets fans got to be stoked.
Almost, Ricky. Almost. It's coming fast, buddy. I can't wait for it. Can't wait for it. That's Ricky Logan. He is one of the hosts of the Red Hot Reds podcast. You can find it here on
I have a question for Ricky, if he's still listening. Ricky, what free agents do the Reds go after that's still available? Which one should they go after? Because I think the Reds can spend more. I think they should. But anyway, we can keep going and we'll see what he has to say.
All right, we'll see. Okay. Sounds like an interesting thing. All right, buddy. We'll find out if he's still listening. Just like a lot of our other fans are right at the moment. Thank you guys for being with us. We're almost done with our MLB 4-pitch talk segment, and then we will jump into, of course, NFL 4-down territory. So let's go back to Bo Bichette here for one last question. Bichette hit just 225, 227, 322 in 80 games during that awful 2024 campaign that he had. But over his final 238 plate appearances last year, wait till you hear this stat. The second-generation All-Star went absolutely bonkers with a 381, 437, 591 slash line. And we have said over and over and over again, it's one of the stats that I love, weighted runs created plus. For an average person, it is 100. With that slash line that Bo Bichette put up over his last 238 plate appearances of last year, you ready? That computes to a 187 weighted runs created plus. That is insane. So, Cheese, which player will the Mets get over these next 3 years? The 2024 guy or the end of 2024 guy? And is that a good gamble by the Mets?
God, he slugged him with 600. Oh
yes.
God. I think it's a good gamble. He was healthy. That's why he did so well. He was finally healthy. And I guess he had the qualifying offer. I thought the Cubs were going to be interested in him because they need a middle order bat. And that's what he was. I think he hit cleanup for the Blue Jays in the postseason, but that's probably what Bregman will hit. But, he can hit. Let's be honest. If he's healthy, he's going to hit. He's going to hit for average. He's got a little power. Not a little. He's got a decent amount of power, but he's just such a tough out. Pitchers do not like to face him. So, I think it's worth the gamble. Only 3 years. So I think it's a good move by the Mets. I wouldn't. That's a lot to pay him for a guy who's been injured a lot, but I get it.
Yeah, so let me get to it because Ricky's over here putting all kinds of comments up here. So let's get to a couple of these. We talked about this earlier. Yes, Ricky, you're 100% right. The Phillies offered more years. They went 7 years, 200, which Bichette turned down to take the 126.
So he's betting on himself. Yeah, in 3 years, I can make more than $74 million.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's good math skills by you, sir.
Took me a second.
It's all right. I didn't put a prerequisite of being good at math in order to be the co-host. So don't worry about it, buddy. It's okay.
So Mike, for a second there, I'm like, what if I can't figure it out? What if I can't do it?
So Ricky would have got your back. He was there, buddy. He had your back.
Somebody with a calculator. Oh man, I just turned completely red.
No, you're good, buddy. You're good. So you asked Ricky. He's listening to us live, just like the rest of you are right now. We're adding a lot of people here real quick. We got a few more. We got a few more comments, and we got a few more things to get to here. Yeah,
we'll get to the Packer comments very soon. We're almost done this segment.
Right, math is hard. Yes. Okay, so get to all of that stuff here in just a second. But you asked Ricky, so who should the Reds go out and get because you think they can spend some more money? So let me give you this first.
I expected them to do more. Okay.
I agree with this.
He was so good for the Reds last year. He was so good for them.
Yes. He's not a complete player. He's a platoon player at this point in his career. But you platoon him with a couple of other guys that we've got on the team.
Against lefties.
Yes,
he kills lefties.
He kills them. So you get a guy that kills right-handed pitching. Maybe you pair him with Sal Stewart, and maybe you pair him with one of our other outfielders that we got out there, and I think he'll be just fine. And then, of course, if you're going to dream, Ricky, dream big here. Cody Bellinger, because I want him.
He'd be such a good fit there. But
are they going to spend that kind of money? I don't think they will. But I've been clamoring for him even before Kyle Schwarber. I said Bellinger would be better than Schwarber. So,
well, Bellinger gives you so much versatility. If someone gets hurt first, he can play first. He can play all three outfield positions, and he's won Gold Gloves. So he can play 4 positions and play them probably at a near Gold Glove level at this point. So
yeah, all of those things are absolutely correct. Let's take this baseball thing off for just a second. We're not going to switch to the football quite yet. I have a stat that I didn't share with you. You know how I love stats. I want to give you one here real fast. So hang on just a second. Let me go. That was not what I wanted to do. All right, there we go. Let me go back here.
We'll get to the Packer questions in 1 second.
Yes, we will get to all of that, guys. We're not ignoring you. We're going to wait to our football segment here. And he's talking about Cody Bellinger, by the way. I know Cody Bellinger has huge Great American Ballpark splits. He is hit like a madman in GABP.
He hardly ever strikes out, too. He's just not a big strikeout guy. It's really opposite of where he was when he was with the Dodgers.
Yes.
He puts the ball in play, and he'd be a great fit there.
Yeah, so before we do our NFL 4-down territory, Cheese, I want to give you this. I want to see your reaction to some of these. All right, so this is a stat that I looked up. Most players on the active NFL roster from last week, the AFC, NFC championship rosters, how many colleges, or excuse me, how many, let's see, what college, man, I'm going to mess this up. What college has the most active players on those rosters? AFC, NFC championship teams, right? Not the whole NFL, just the ones that made it to last week.
Are you asking me, like, should I guess?
No, you don't need to guess. I'm going to give them to you. I'm not that mean to you.
Well, let me guess.
Oh, here you want to do this? All right.
Well, if the Eagles and Packers were still there, Georgia would be first because half their team is Georgia. Probably LSU and Alabama and Ohio State have to be up there.
Okay.
They always are. I'll say LSU, Alabama, Ohio State are top 3.
Okay. All right. Here we go. So 3. These teams have at least 3 players from these colleges on their roster. Iowa, Michigan State,
always have Iowa,
Minnesota, and Tennessee.
Minnesota's tied with Tennessee. That's doesn't make me too happy. Go Vols.
All right. 4 players. 4 players on these rosters: North Carolina State, Oklahoma, and South Carolina. I was a little surprised about a couple of those.
NC State. And Green Bay's got NC State, a couple of NC State players. Interesting. They could have been.
NC State on the board. So if they have 5 players from this college, and there's a lot of these: Arkansas, Georgia that you mentioned earlier, Illinois, Missouri, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, 2 more, Oregon, and Utah. 5.
Utah's had some really good players last few years. They have. Really good players. You're right. They have at least one team has 6 players from this college on their roster: Auburn and USC. Okay, good for Auburn.
7 players on their roster. We're going to get 2 of the 3 teams that you mentioned right here: LSU, Michigan, Ohio State. Okay. There's no team that has 8 from the same college. It jumps to 9. And at 9,
how many colleges are left?
2.
Alabama and who else? I can just go.
Yeah, a team has 9 players from Alabama.
Okay.
So that means the team that you haven't guessed yet is number 1. One team has 10 players from this university.
Just tell me. Oh, God, Texas. I didn't even think about Texas. I don't know why.
Yes, Hook'em Horns. So, yes.
Please.
Yes. All right. Let's go ahead and I'm going to try to do a little bit of these stats a little bit in between here sometimes to kind of break up the show a little bit.
I like when you do the stats about the MLB Draft 2015, and I was guessing through. Feel free to always have that and try to get me to guess. It's fun. Okay. A little trivia. I like that.
I like it. We'll do one more thing about college football here in a little bit right before we do our top 10. So look forward to that. And I tell you what else you can look forward to. You can look forward to our NFL 4-down territory. All right, buddy. Tell us what we're going to get today in the NFL 4-down territory segment. Cheese, go.
So we're going to talk about the new coaches. There's 4 of them have been hired of the 10 openings. We're going to talk about the Lions have a new offensive coordinator. It may not be the best candidate. We'll see. We're going to talk about – we'll see. Wait, don't spoil it because I want to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
This is what I really want you to get your opinion. I can't wait to hear your response. We're going to talk about Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh and how long they coach their teams. And we have to talk about the Bills, and they fired Sean McDermott. We're going to go over the Bills organization and their leadership and discuss that as well. You ready?
All right. Oh, I'm ready, man. Sounds like a fantastic segment. Where do you want to start, sir?
Okay, so there are 10 head coaching vacancies. By the way, ties a record. Should have been 11. Packers.
Maybe Bengals. Go ahead.
Speaking of the Packers, we'll get to the Packer questions in a second. So 4 of the vacancies have been filled. Okay. Which of these 4 that have been filled so far do you think is the best fit for that franchise? Jeff Hafley to the Dolphins, Robert Saleh to the Titans, Kevin Stefanski to the Falcons, or John Harbaugh to the Giants?
Ooh. So you're saying which one's the best fit?
Fit for that franchise where they are now and that coach.
Ooh. Wow.
Not best
you were
job.
telling
Best
me earlier
fit.
you had some. Yeah, you were telling me earlier I had some good questions for you. This one's yeah. I would have to say your Packers defensive coordinator in Miami, because I think they need a disciplinarian, and I think he can bring that to that team.
Definitely different than Mike McDaniel, who's more like the buddy coach for sure.
Right.
I'm actually going to disagree as far as fit. I thought Hafley might have fit better. I just think Kevin Stefanski in the Falcons is such a good fit. He could do what he's always wanted to do. His style of offense, he could not do in Cleveland. He can do that with the personnel that Atlanta has. He's going to want to run the ball. He's going to want to hit play action. That is, I know Michael Penix will be, very important part of that. He has a really good number 1 receiver in Drake London. He never had that in Cleveland. So he has the pieces in place to run that offense. I think it's a really, really good fit. Okay. Of the 4 of them, what do you think is the most questionable fit?
I don't think there's any question about which one is the most questionable, at least not in my eyes. John Harbaugh and the Giants. I don't know how much of it you heard. I don't know how much of it's really true, but I heard what was holding this deal up was that John Harbaugh wanted the office of the general manager because it had the windows overlooking the stadium, so he could sit in the office and watch the field when there was practices and stuff going on. Now, I don't know if that's really true or not. That sounds kind of petty, but I think
I heard that as well. I hope it's not true.
I hope it's not true. Daggone it. It's like, really? This is how petty you are? Or maybe Harbaugh looked at it as, you know what? I'm the best guy out there. I'm the most qualified guy out here, so you're going to give me exactly what I want. Or all these other teams are begging for me too, so I'll just say goodbye to you and move on to the next team. I don't know what he was thinking, but for a guy that's had their, you're going to bring this up later when we talk about the Ravens and that division and everything else, so I won't spoil it. But let's just say, at least if you ask, what have you done for me lately, John Harbaugh? It's not a lot. And here you are acting like you're the best coach since sliced bread and you won all these things. I just don't like how this relationship's starting out. And I don't think it's going to get any better, Cheese.
I have that as well as a weird fit, believe it or not. I agree with you. I think Harbaugh's a good coach. At least he used to be. I get why they went after him. But at the same time, the Giants have a young team. They're not going to win next year. They probably will improve and make him look good. Maybe that's one of the reasons he took the job. And they threw money at him. But Joe Schoen's been there. Joe Schoen, whatever his name is, a GM. That dynamic with Harbaugh, probably wanting more control. Shane's still there. I just think that's a weird fit. If the Giants had fired their GM and John Harbaugh picked his GM, that would have made more sense. But I just think it's not the right coach for the right time for the Giants, personally. I know their fans, a lot of them are really happy, but I agree with you.
When do you want to get to some of these Packer questions, by the way? Where do you want to do it in a second?
Let's just do them right now real quick. Let's just knock them out.
Okay. So I didn't know they did this today. Maybe this is, I don't know. Did they sign a quarterback today in Packerland?
They signed Kyle McCord. He was a 2024 sixth-round pick. Kyle McCord, you've never heard of him.
No.
He actually used to be on Ohio State.
I feel like an owl right now. Who?
He transferred from Ohio State to Syracuse. He was a 6th-round pick in the 2024 draft to the Eagles. They're bringing him in to be the just a training camp quarterback. Maybe he does something, makes it. He's got a big arm, but it's not really a big deal. He probably will not be the backup next year. I don't know who Grant is. I don't watch
I think this
NBA.
is an NBA trade. We don't talk about
if
the
it's
NBA
not
here.
about
it's a terrible sport.
Did the Bucks trade Giannis? You'll have to look it up.
Yeah,
I think the Bucks, you can't get value for Giannis.
I actually like this question. I was going to ask you this too, possibly, but Malik Willis.
No, it won't surprise me. Their cap situation is a disaster. I mean, it was a good move getting Jeff Hafley. The fit, though, is weird just because I wouldn't have taken that job. Their cap situation is bad. They have one of the worst rosters in the NFL despite winning 7 games. But Willis, with their horrible offensive line, you need a quarterback that can run. That can run away from him. So that's a good fit, and I can absolutely see that. In Sunday,
exactly about this.
I'm going to go back and rewatch that Rams Seahawks game from about a month ago. That Thursday night game is my favorite game I've watched all year. I'm going to rewatch it. I think the Rams and Seahawks are the 2 best teams in the NFC, and I can't wait for that game. And we're going to preview it about 2 hours before the game, and I will break it down. I do not know who I'm going to pick, but the Seahawks certainly right now are playing as good as anyone, but we'll see. But tune in this Sunday. We will go live about 2 hours before the game, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific.
All right. For those of you who don't know, I live in Arizona, so Cheese knows, and I'm a fan of both the Bengals and the Cardinals. I can have 2 teams, daggone, and a lot of people do. So he's going to ask me a question about the Cardinals. Cheese, go ahead, buddy. What's that?
Well, real quick, there was a question from Lord Crimson on who do I want to hire as defensive coordinator. There are a few names, but can you hear me? Oh, bless you.
Yes, I can hear you. I'm sneezing over here. I'm trying to block it, but yeah.
I thought you were okay. Christian Parker would be my pick. He's the passing game coordinator for the Eagles. Learned under Vic Fangio. He'd be just such a good fit with their personnel, and that style of defense absolutely has worked in Philadelphia. I think it'd work in Green Bay if they get some better corners. So Christian Parker would probably be my first choice. There's also some more like Bobby Babich for Buffalo. He might be pretty good. Aiden Durde for Seattle. He's the defensive coordinator, but doesn't call plays. So they could possibly get him. I think he'd be really good as well. So those are the 3 candidates that 3 or 4 I'd like. Okay, let's talk about the Cardinals.
Let's do it.
They still haven't named a coach. Of all the candidates, I'm not going to list them all because they've interviewed a lot. Of all the candidates, who would you like to see them hire? Go.
So for me, and you listed them down here: Thomas Brown, Mount Burke, Vance Joseph, Clint Kubiak, Raheem Morris, Jesse Minter, Matt Nagy, Robert Saleh. He's already been hired. Arthur Smith, Chris Shula. I'm going to go. I really want an offensive person this time, so I'm going to go Clint Kubiak. I think he is the most qualified offensive person from the Seattle Seahawks. That's who I personally would like to see come into Arizona.
Love that. He's my favorite candidate in this cycle. But a lot of teams haven't hired him because he's still coaching, so you can't. But Jesse Minter as well, to me, would also be a pretty good fit. He's just such a good defensive coordinator. So who knows if he'll be a great head coach, but he's such a good defensive coordinator. So, yeah, I like that. Okay. I lost my notes for a second here. Oh, so you said Clint Kubiak, right?
Yes.
But would you have preferred one of the 4 candidates we just mentioned, Jeff Hafley, Robert Saleh, Kevin Stefanski, and John Harbaugh, over Kubiak?
Not John Harbaugh. Robert Saleh is probably about the same. He's just on the other side of the ball, obviously. I thought he had a real chance to be the Cardinal coach. I really did. I did too. I was not going to be surprised if that was the guy they were going to choose. In fact, he was supposed to board a plane after he talked to Tennessee and come to Arizona. So I'm pretty sure that the Titans thought the same thing that you and I both thought, which is if he gets to Arizona, they're probably going to swoop in and get him. So we better get him now. And of course, I'd love to have Kevin Stefanski. I think that wherever he's going to, Atlanta's a great fit for him, and I think he's going to do well there. But I would have loved to see him come to the Cardinals as well. But as far as the fit with the money and everything else, I think the best fit you're going to get is probably Kubiak right now.
Okay. And I didn't have this in notes, but I did text you that Vance Joseph, some people think he's going to get the job. You didn't like, you do not want them to hire Vance Joseph, the coordinator of the defense coordinator of the Broncos. You would not like that?
No.
No, Cousins is gone. Anyway.
Yeah.
No.
There's this whole thing is kind of these comments over here. I don't know what's going on with them, but once I get them up there, I can't get them back off. So I don't know.
Cousins is they're going to move on from Cousins. Penix is going to be the quarterback. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, they got Kirk Cousins as some kind of front office person, right? Didn't they? Or no, that was
he was on
Matt.
TV. He was on TV. No, it's Matt Ryan.
Yeah,
but you don't want them to hire Vance Joseph.
No, I don't. I just don't think he's good enough right at the moment. And he's a defensive-minded guy, and I don't think they need another defensive-minded guy. I really want an offensive guy.
Okay.
So those would be my two reasons mainly why I don't want them to hire Vance Joseph. Were you thinking that that's what they're going to do, or why were you asking that?
Well, I like Vance. Yeah, I've heard the rumor that he may be the favorite, but then again, half the time when they say that someone's the favorite, like the Titans said Matt Nagy was a favorite, they hire someone else. But I'll just say this about Vance Joseph. He's a very good defensive coach. And when he was a head coach before, for 2 years in Denver, his quarterbacks were Case Keenum and Brock Osweiler in each of those years. So It's hard to win with them, but I get it. Okay. Speaking of the Cardinals, former offensive coordinator Drew Petzing has been hired by the Lions as their new offensive coordinator. Head coach Dan Campbell, he wanted an experienced play caller, he said that, after he took over play calling from John Morton this past season. Most casual fans probably have no idea who Drew Petzing is, but Cardinals fans certainly do. He was one of the most disliked coordinators by their fan base I've ever seen. And there were posts all the time on X for fans just blasting him, begging them to fire him. They absolutely hated his play calling, a lot of them. Even if the Cardinals, this question is for you, kept Jonathan Gannon, they fired their head coach. If they kept him, and you thought they should have, fans wanted Petzing fired. Do you think the anger toward him was fair?
Yes. When you don't involve Marvin Harrison Jr. in your game plan, when you fail to use the best or at least one of the top 3 tight ends in all of football in the red zone, you're a pitiful coordinator. When when it takes 2 of the best, 2 of your receivers going down before all of a sudden you discover, oh look, there's this guy out here called Michael. Hang on, I can't. Gosh, his name escapes. Michael Wilson, right? And you're just like, all of a sudden Michael Wilson shows up and he's doing all kinds of stuff. And then when Marvin Harrison Jr. comes back, he just fades off into the background again. It's, well, okay, why can't you spread this around? I mean, I know it's Jacoby Brissett, and I know you were on your 6th or 7th running back, but you had some things out there that you really could have used, and you failed to do so. I don't know why anybody would want to hire Drew Petzing, for anything. Never mind an offensive coordinator.
I agree with you. I rewatched some Arizona Cardinal games in the offseason.
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry.
And they went 9-8 last year.
You must have been really bored
in the summer. Well, I rewatch a lot of games. That's what I do in the summer. And it's better than watching Braves games. And what was just shocking to me was how many times that Marvin Harrison Jr. lined up on the same side of the field outside the numbers just the same time. Teams would focus on him on some games. They wanted to take him out. He's had an inconsistent start of the year, but some teams focused on him. Let's not let him beat us. And he didn't move him around. I watched the Bengals take, not T. Higgins, the other guy, Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase.
Oh, yeah, Jamar Chase. Wow. I went way back and said Chad Johnson.
Joe Cinco. No, yeah. Jamar Chase. And if they're doing that, you know what Zach Taylor's going to do? He's going to move him in the slot. He's going to move him to the left. He's going to move him right. He's going to move him around, get him the best matchup. That's what you do with your receivers. Packers did with Jordy Nelson when he was their number 1 guy. Move him around. The Packers currently do it. Oh, my God. Am I saying something good about the Packers? With Christian Watson. Get him on the best matchup. That's what you do with your number one receiver. And it didn't matter. Harris, he's going to line up in the same spot. It's the most vanilla offense I have ever seen since I've been studying film. I cannot believe the Lions hired him. And as a Packer fan, I'm happy about it. I'm shocked. So obviously you would have fired him.
Yeah, I would have. We talked about this off air when they fired Jonathan Gannon. I was like, okay, so I'm assuming that the next one to go is going to be Petzing, and you told me, you were like, oh, they'll wait till they bring in the head coach, and then the head coach will decide some of these coordinators and stuff. Maybe they want to keep him, maybe they want to let him go, so they would wait. And I wasn't willing to wait. I was like, just fire him and get it over with.
Well, I wonder. They interviewed Mike McDaniel, who's a great offensive mind for offensive coordinator. I'm wondering if no one wanted that job because they have so much talent on offense. Like they expect you to be good. And maybe some of these offensive coordinator candidates want to go to an offense that hasn't been good in the last few years because I can show improvement. So I wonder if they had trouble, getting someone that wanted that job because the offense has been one of the best in the league the last 3 years. I don't know. What do you think?
So you're saying the Cardinals?
No, the Lions.
Oh, the Lions.
The Lions. I don't think people wanted the Lions job because, he might not get credit because they have Amon-Ra. They have Jameson Williams. They have incredible running backs. They have, Jared Goff had a really good year. No one's talking about that. Jared Goff had an amazing year. Because the offense is so good that maybe you're not going to get credit for it if you take the job. I don't know.
It's true. That might be, but their schedule is going to be a lot lighter this year than what it was, or next year than what it was the year we're still in right now. So that should help as well.
They're playing a last place schedule. They've been playing a first place schedule the last couple of years. Their schedule was brutal this year. So yes, that could change things. But yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs is so incredible at running back. So he's going to have a better offense than he did last year by default. But yeah. Lions fans, a lot of them aren't happy. Let's go back to coaches.
Okay.
The AFC North saw 3 of the 4 teams make coaching changes, just like the AFC East. Basically, everyone with the Bengals, and a lot of Bengals fans wanted Zach Taylor gone.
We did. Well, I mean, I've said this before. I'll put this one more time. I really didn't want them to fire him. I want them to get an offensive coordinator because I think he's not a good enough coach to do both. If I have my druthers right now, they go out and get make sure I don't let's see, Mike McDaniel, right, from the Dolphins.
Oh, he'd be great. Oh God, he'd be so good in that offense.
Right, that's who I want. I want Mike McDaniel to be the offensive coordinator, and you can leave Zach Taylor as the head coach, and let's go.
He'd be such a perfect fit because he knows how to get the most out of an offense with a terrible offensive line. Because he's done it year after year after year in Miami. Yeah. Oh my God, that tandem would be incredible. Yeah. Okay. Yes, and the Browns made a coaching change, but we're not even talking about the Browns. No point. So Mike Tomlin coached the Steelers for 19 years. He won 1 Super Bowl, went to 2, but he has not made it back to the Super Bowl in 15 years. John Harbaugh, he coached the Ravens for 18 years with 1 Super Bowl, only made 1, and he did win that one. But he has not been back in 13 years. Now, Tomlin made the playoffs each of the last 5 years, but they were never a true contender. They were one and done in all 5 years, and they lost all 5 games by more than 10 points. Harbaugh, he struggled the last couple of years holding leads, and the Ravens could not beat the Bills or the Chiefs in the playoffs. So, do you think things got stale with each of these coaches in Pittsburgh and Baltimore?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes back to, like I said before, it's what have you done for me lately? I mean, I'm not saying neither one of these guys are terrible head coaches, but I also think you've got some validity here. Tomlin's not been there in 15 years. Harbaugh's not been there in 13 years. It's nice to make the playoffs, but you want to do a little more than that, especially if you put all the money into these teams like what Tomlin and Harbaugh's teams, the Steelers and the Ravens. It's not like they're cheap teams. I mean, they pump in some money. So I just think sometimes you need a new voice. I think sometimes you need a different person at the top. Maybe kind of like what I'm saying with the Cardinals. They just did a defensive person. Maybe now they need an offensive person and stuff like that. So I can see where your your opinion and your thought process here is going, and I think it's going to the right spot.
Well, you mentioned earlier about how the longest tenure coaches, it's like the top 5, 7 or fewer years. So you said that. You said that sometimes you need a new voice. So do you think, would you be okay with your team changing coaches every 6, 7 years instead of going 18, 19 just to get a new voice, just to keep things fresh?
Well, I mean, I don't think you should say that regardless we're gonna change every 6 or 8 years. You know, it's team by team, coach by coach, players by players, because the coach can only do so much. You've got to have good players too. You know, we can't put everything on the coaches. We're going to talk about Buffalo and McDermott here in a moment and get my opinion on that. But yeah, like you said, you know, Andy Reid 13 years, Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay for 9 years, Zach Taylor, Matt LaFleur 7, and then the other 27 coaches in the NFL have less than 5 years on their teams. So you said too, you know, we're not giving coaches a chance. But then you get these guys, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, and were they given too much of a leash? And I think they were.
Yeah, I think they were too. And I think I don't think they're bad coaches. I think they're good coaches. Do I think they're great? No, I don't think either one is great. But I didn't like the reasoning for getting rid of Tomlin. A lot of Steelers fans, a lot of people like Terry Bradshaw, Steelers legends or whatever, they want him fired because Steelers need to be making the AFC Championship every year or making the Super Bowl because we're the Steelers. That was insane. Realistic. That's insane.
Yeah, it's not realistic.
I hated that aspect of it. That's why we should get rid of him. When he's never had a losing record in 18 years or 19 years, never. And so that kind of bothered me. But yeah, I agree with you. I think they probably, both of them, held on too long. It's probably the right time to move on from Harbaugh, I think, in the Ravens. I think it was probably the right time. I think it ran its course with them. Sometimes you just need just a new leader running things. Okay, question for you. Sure. Which one of them do you think – now they both, like I said, 18 years, 19 years, both have one Super Bowl win. Who do you think is the better coach?
I think you have to give it to Tomlin because I think overall he did more with less. I think John Harbaugh had better players. And, you know, okay, it's kind of like, you know, when Joe Torre was the manager of the Yankees. Well, anybody, you and I could have won with that team. You know, shoot, the team they had. But when you win with lesser talent, then I think you're a better coach. And that's what coaches are supposed to do is – you know, get the most out of people, get the best out of people. And I think Mike Tomlin has a good grasp on how to do that. And I'm not sure that John Harbaugh does.
There is no one that I know. We both know a lot of baseball fans. I don't know a single person that thinks Dave Roberts is one of the best managers in baseball.
No.
He's got 3 World Series. He's won the last 2. But he's the Dodgers manager. No one is saying, oh, he's such a great manager. Nobody is saying that. Yeah, sometimes you just have more talent. Barry Switzer has a Super Bowl. Mike McCarthy had a Super Bowl. They were terrible coaches, but their teams had so much talent that year. They won with talent. So sometimes it happens.
Or sometimes the teams around them didn't have as much talent. There's a couple of those guys you're mentioning that in the division, the rest of those teams weren't very good. So they almost won by default and then kind of got lucky once they got to the playoffs. It's it's the Broncos mentality, or you know, this year it might be the Patriots way of doing things. They might get to a Super Bowl, never were really challenged, but not because of the team that they had, because of the teams they faced.
Yeah, they're about to face Jared Stidham. We just mentioned that again.
Yeah.
I know that. You hate that name. I can see your face every time I say that name. You're like, I don't want to watch that game, but you have to. We're doing a preview this Sunday, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. We're going to go live. We're going to preview both games. We'll try to keep it under an hour. We'll see. Okay. Yeah. We'll do a poll question too. Maybe start on Friday. Okay. Now, real quick, I agree with you. I think they're both good coaches, not great, but I think I give the nod to Tomlin a little bit better. So I agree with you there. Okay. We're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills. They fired Sean McDermott, their head coach, after losing in overtime to the Broncos. He was an 8-8 playoff record, which isn't great, but, you know, not 3-6 like Matt LaFleur. The Bills won the first game they played in each of the last 6 playoffs, but they never got to the Super Bowl. So I have a stat here. Only 4 teams have won a playoff game in 6 consecutive seasons. Okay. That was the Cowboys from 91 to 96, the Patriots from 2011 to 2018, the Chiefs from 2018 to 2024, and the Bills from 2020 to 2025. Here's the difference. The Cowboys, Patriots, and Chiefs won 3 Super Bowls in that 6-year span. The Bills did not even make the Super Bowl. What does this stat say about the Bills currently?
So it's a pretty impressive stat, to be honest. I saw the same stat. I had to rewrite after I read your football notes. I actually had this stat in the 5 Flamin' 5 and 5 and had to take that one out and put in. No, that's good. You're fine. I've always got backup stuff, so we're good. I like this stat too, right? You know how I am with stats.
You saw this on X too.
I did.
It was all over
I did.
X. Okay.
Actually, I think I retweeted it. You probably saw it from me, but that's okay. We're not.
I probably did.
It's okay. So, first of all, this says a lot about getting the right players and signing them for a long term. This says a lot about getting a cohesive unit together. That's what the Cowboys, the Patriots, and the Chiefs did in these runs. They had the same basic players, and they just kind of plugged and played with some outside people. Mm-hmm. That was not what happened whatsoever with the Bills. Really, the only thing that's constant and consistent about this 6-year run is Josh Allen. Well, they've not had anybody for him to throw to. That's been pretty consistent. They've not had a defense in front of him to stop the run. That's been pretty consistent. So this is certainly not Josh Allen's fault, and I don't think it's the Buffalo Bills. I don't think it is McDermott's fault. He's not the one selecting the players. You're going to give a stat again that I was going to throw out here as well, but I'll let you keep this one too here about Brandon here in a minute. It's a crazy stat, and I think that says more about the Buffalo Bills than the stat we're looking at right now. Go ahead and give us that stat, buddy.
Well, one thing you said was really, really good. The Cowboys in the 90s and then the Patriots and Chiefs, they had what I call a good young core. They had drafted well. Yes, they had a good young group of talented players. They weren't chasing positions. They weren't chasing, oh, we're so terrible at this position. They didn't have any major weaknesses like the Bills have. The Bills are chasing wide receiver. They keep signing number 3 and 4 receivers every year. You know, they're not a direct. They have horrible run defense. None of those teams have these major weaknesses, and the Bills do. It's just crazy that they've won a playoff game in 6 straight years, but with all the flaws they have. Okay, here's the stat.
Okay. So you said I'm going to cut you off for just a second, buddy. I apologize, but I'm going to do it here. You said in one of your videos that this was insanity. I believe it was the Bill video that you made about McDermott. You know, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. They've not had a good receiver in how many years?
They had Stephon Diggs, and then they traded him. They had that's the only.
Stephon Diggs was a good receiver, but he was a nut job.
Right, and they traded him. The fact that he's been traded twice tells you all you need to know.
They're desperate for a receiver, and they traded him. I mean, come on, that's like desperation trading for crossing their fingers.
They just wanted him out of the locker room, but they haven't replaced him. That's fine, trade him, but you got to replace him. And they used the first pick of the second round on Keon Coleman in 2024. He's been a disaster. He's been suspended. He's been a healthy scratch. Just terrible, terrible draft pick. The insanity thing was actually the Green Bay Packers, but
okay, I'm sorry.
But the Bills, Bills that's similar. I mean, they're a similar situation. You ready for the stat?
Well, there's a rumor out there. Let me get to this, and you can have the floor, buddy. There's a rumor out there that says when they had their meeting between McDermott and Brandon, what is it, Bean?
Brandon Bean and the owner. Yeah.
When they all got together, McDermott went through and said, okay, if we really want to win, if we really want to compete, we need to fix this, and we need to fix this, and we need to fix this. And they took it as an insult, like he was saying that you guys haven't given me this, and you guys haven't given me that, which it's kind of sort of true. I mean, I would much rather, when I speak to someone, I supervise some people at work, and if I'm talking to one of my subordinates or whatever, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? What do we need? If I'm asking them for their opinion, I don't want them to tell me what I want to hear. I want them to tell me what their true opinion is. And if McDermott did that in a closed door meeting without anybody else, around hearing it, then I don't understand why they got upset about it, because he's right. And then they turned around and fired him.
They have not fixed their run defense was bad 4 years ago. It's still bad.
Yep.
The only time they even had it close to a number one or a number two receiver, Stephon Diggs, traded him, never fixed it. Never. The last 2 years, they haven't had the receivers group is terrible. They won't fix it. So he's right. If that really happened, Sean McDermott's right. Brandon Beane, who we just mentioned, he's been the GM since 2017. He actually was hired at the same time as Sean McDermott. They both came over from the Carolina Panthers. Since drafting Josh Allen in the first round of the 2018 draft, so it's been 8 years, 7 drafts, he has had 56 draft picks, yet only 2 of them are Pro Bowlers, okay? James Cook, the running back, legit Pro Bowler. The other one is Dawson Knox, tight end. He's a good tight end, but I would never think he was a Pro Bowler.
No, he's borderline the best.
That's it. That's crazy. To me, the roster has some serious flaws, like we talked about, run defense and receiver. And we talked about this just now. I just mentioned it. It's been issues for years, and they've not addressed it. And they either not addressed it or they chose the wrong players to fix those flaws. Do you think Brandon Beane should have been the one to be fired?
Absolutely. I don't think McDermott is to blame here. I think Beane is much more to blame. I mean, 56 picks and only 2 Pro Bowlers. I mean, even a blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while, for God's sake.
Yeah, he's been there since 2017, 2 Pro Bowlers. Brian Gutekunst, the Packers GM, has been there since 2018, 1 Pro Bowler. And that player was Jair Alexander, who's out of the NFL now.
I was going to say, who? I'm back to my owl. Who?
And before you say, wait, Michael Parsons made the Pro Bowl. Yeah, he traded for him. 1. But somehow these GMs have jobs. Unbelievable.
Yeah, because they fire the coaches before they get a chance to get themselves fired.
Well, the Packers don't fire anybody. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. And they can do whatever they want. Everything is Jordan Love's fault. Jordan Love missed those kicks in those games. Jordan Love couldn't cover those receivers on defense. It's all Jordan Love's fault.
So it seems like you're a Packers fan.
Yeah.
If I'm catching the vibe
Jordan Love,
right here, maybe. So if you're a Packers fan,
well, I watch the Packers. I watch the games, and none of Jordan Love is the solution, not the problem. I'll say this.
So Cheese, if you're a Packers fan,
did you hear me?
Yes, I did. If you're the big Packers fan, doesn't maybe your YouTube channel or your X spot should have something to do with the Green Bay Packers, does it?
I cover all 32 teams on my channel, but I do a lot of Packer videos, especially because of the situation, how bad their season ended, lost 5 straight games, and Matt LaFleur wanted him fired. So I made a lot of videos on this. I will make videos on all 32 teams coming up before the draft. But I've been focusing a lot on the Packers, but I did make a video on the Bills, and I did talk about how I don't think Sean McDermott's a great coach, but I thought Billy Beane, this is not baseball, Brandon Beane should have been the one fired, or just fire both of them. But it's ridiculous that he has a job and McDermott doesn't, because he's done a worse job, in my opinion.
Can I do one more piece here on Sean McDermott real fast?
Sure.
Here's what I want to say about Sean McDermott. I think this is the Fernando Mendoza scenario right here. Fernando Mendoza was basically told, you're not good enough. He tried to be a walk-on in Miami, and Miami said, no, get the heck out of here. You're terrible. We don't want you. And so then he went to Cal, then he got moved from Cal to Indiana, and look at him now. I honestly think Sean McDermott probably feels the same way right now. Like, oh, well, they don't think I was good enough. I did all this, and I did this, and I did this, but I'm just not good enough, huh? So you know who I want to come to the Arizona Cardinals now? I want Sean McDermott now. If you didn't give me this option earlier when you were talking about it, but if I'm going to pick a coach,
can you see me?
Because I can. Everything's good, brother. I can hear you, see you, everything. Yeah.
He keeps skipping. Okay.
So sure. That's the guy I want because there's a chip on his shoulder now.
Yeah. I get it. He wants to keep coaching. Can you hear me? God, I keep skipping.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, he wants to keep coaching. So I think he might get one of these jobs left. We'll see. I haven't heard any crazy rumors, but would you want the Cardinals to hire him? I know you want offensive coach, but okay, yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, chip on his shoulder. Give me the guy with the chip on his shoulder.
We got a comment from Lord Crimson. Yes, we did talk about it. I'll briefly say it. Who do I want to be the Packers defensive coordinator? Christian Parker, to me, would be my favorite. You have the Aiden Durd, Seahawks coordinator, but he doesn't call the plays, would be great as well. But yeah, Christian Parker, he's the passing game coordinator of the Eagles. To me, he would be just such a great fit. And one thing I didn't mention, they were really wanting Jim Leonard about 4 years ago. He was the defense coordinator of Wisconsin, so he could be a candidate as well. But he wanted to stay at Wisconsin at that time. So, but yeah, Christian Parker would be my the candidate that I would really want. He has learned under Vic Fangio, who's such a good defensive coordinator. Okay, so you agree with me? You think Brandon Beane, not Billy Beane, is more to blame than Sean McDermott?
Yes.
For the playoff woes? Okay.
Absolutely.
Last question before we go to our lights out list.
Okay.
It seems like every year, twice as many head coaches are fired as general managers. Why does Mike think that is?
Because the general managers are smarter than the managers. They it's so much easier. You know, it's so much easier to fire one guy who's over top of all 53 than to try to replace all 53. Yeah. And you know, before I get replaced, if I'm the general manager and Cheese is the manager and my seat's getting hot, I'm going to be like, nope, all Cheese's fault. Point at Cheese and be like,
they're not going to blame themselves. They're not going to blame themselves. Oh, I drafted like shit. But no, it's the coach's fault. But also, they have the ear of the owner. They spend more time with the owner. So if it's going bad, they're going to be like, oh, look at that bad play call. Because even the best play callers, there's some bad play calls. Even Kyle Shanahan has some bad play calls. So, yes, they have the ear of the owner. But I just think it's ridiculous. And it bothers me that some of these executives, like Andrew Berry, like Brandon Beane, still have a job when they have done such a poor job.
Right.
So
unless you're Matt LaFleur, and then, all three of you get together and go golfing. So you can go over to Cheese's channel and check out that video. What's the name of that channel, sir?
At Football with Cheese. Make sure you check it out. Subscribe, hit the bell for notification. Because anything crazy happens, I will make a video. I'm going to make a video about Robert Saleh and the Titans tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And they were spotted, those three, President Ed Policy, GM Brian Gutekunst, and head coach Matt LaFleur, hanging out at a hotel drinking on Wednesday night. Hanging out with their buddies. No one's held accountable. They can keep their job. And the Packer organization doesn't have an owner, so it's allowed. So they can do whatever they want. And Matt LaFleur can hire terrible assistants because a lot of them are bad. So Packers are not a serious organization, and they're not going to win the Super Bowl anytime soon.
All right. There you have it. The opinion of Football with Cheese. Again, you can find him over at Football Cheese on his YouTube channel. You can also get us over on YouTube. That is at All Gloves Off Sports Media. And when you get there, of course, let me see if I can do this real quick. Okay, here we go. When you get there, hit the bell for notifications, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe so you never miss a video on the All Gloves Off Sports Media YouTube channel. Almost to 100 subscribers. Now, I know Cheese has got like 5 or 6 times that, but we won't talk about how great he is right at the moment.
Well, I do daily videos. You do once a week. But I would love to think outside the box. I would love to bring those back. Those were popular. Seeing the whole okay. Yeah. I would like to get more Mike Ballantyne videos, like not podcasting, just outside the box. I'd like to get those.
All right, we're gonna try to do that. Like I said, the work situation's changed a little bit more hours freed up, I think. So hopefully we're going to be able to do at least 1 or 2 extra ones of those a week. So, Cheese, we're getting ready to go into our lights out list. Of course, this week it's going to be our top 10 teams. as based on the season that just ended yesterday in college football. But before we do that, I want to give you another stat real quick. The college football final conference bowl records. For the conferences, here we go. The Big Ten went 11-5 in bowl games this year, and that's even with one of the games being Big Ten versus Big Ten, so somebody had to lose. All right. The ACC is second, 9-5. Conference USA is third, 4-3. The American Conference is fourth at 5-4. Is the SEC? Did I not get the? Oh no, the SEC is here eventually. The Big 12 Conference. The Big 12 Conference is 4-4. The MAC Conference is next at 2 wins and 3 losses. The Sun Belt is actually next with 4 wins and 6 losses. And then next to last is the SEC. They went 4-10 in bowl games this year. And then the Mountain West is last at 2-5. So SEC next to last in conferences and bowl games this year. Big Ten, ACC, Conference USA, 1, 2, and 3. Interesting, or you just don't care?
I'll say this. I tell you what, Missouri losing to Virginia was crazy. Like I thought Missouri would win so easily. So wait, so does that count the college football playoff?
It does.
So Alabama, Oklahoma was the only victory for the SEC in the entire thing?
Yes.
That's pathetic. Tennessee laid a brick.
Mm-hmm.
It just tells you a lot. It tells you maybe it's NIL, maybe it's transfer. Things have changed. SEC, I know Big Ten fans, diehard, think we're as good as the SEC for years, but for most of this year, for a lot of years, SEC was the best conference. Not anymore. Not anymore. The Big Ten is the best conference. The SEC has taken a big step back.
Yeah.
That I know some of these are bowl exhibition games, non-college, but still, it's bad. And Virginia, Missouri, my God. I know Missouri, some of the players didn't play because they're going pro, but wow, I thought Missouri would win by 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That was crazy. SEC was awful in the bowl games.
And this is setting us up, Cheese. We're going to talk about this.
The only team that won a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is setting us up, buddy.
Okay.
We're going to talk about this
later. Got embarrassed. Okay. Got embarrassed by Indiana. Anyway.
All right, buddy. So this one's going to be a little bit different for our lights out list. Can you hear me, sir? Cheese.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Hello?
I can hear you.
I don't know what's going on, but I'm having connection issues.
All right. So I take it you can't hear me. All right. So I'm pretty sure
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. You're good. You haven't clicked out for quite a while, so you're good. All right. So for our lights out list today, we're actually going to start with number 1 and go to 10 instead of going from 10 to number 1. So I'll give you my number 1. I'll start everything off, Cheese, and then I'll go to you. All right? Maybe.
I'm having so much connection issues. Can you hear me?
Yes. All right. My number 1.
I don't know what's going on. Some nights we're no issues whatsoever, and some nights it's just terrible.
All right. So my number 1.
Can you hear me?
Yes. I feel like I'm on a really bad Verizon commercial.
We're almost done. I just come on. I don't know. My Wi-Fi is so bad. I'm actually plugged in the Ethernet. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, so number 1, look at me. Number 1 for me is Indiana. Number 1 for you?
Indiana.
2 for me is Miami. Who's 2 for you?
I have no idea if you're talking right now.
Yes. 2 for you.
Who's 2 for you?
Miami.
Yeah, I had Miami as well.
Okay.
Yeah, they were second place.
3 for me, Ole Miss. 3 for
No.
you.
Hold on. Let me jump out and jump back in and see if that helps. Because this is bad.
All right, so we're having a little bit of difficulties here. Cheese is jumping back out and coming back in. I'm going to type a few things to him here in the chat because we have a private chat that both of us can see. Let me get him back up on the stage. Let's see if this works a little better. How about now, buddy?
Okay, this is better. I was hoping we're almost done. All right,
Okay.
who was your 2? Miami?
Yes, mine, Indiana, Miami.
Okay, also Indiana, Miami. Miami played Indiana so well. By the way, in my channel, make sure you check out. I made a video all about the game, so make sure you check it out. Football with Cheese. Yes. Number 3, you have Ole Miss. You said?
Yes.
I had Ohio State 3. Ohio State only lost to Indiana by 3, and they lost to only Miami and Indiana. So I have Ohio State 3. Okay.
All right. So if you look at the private chat, by the way, if something goes awry, I'll start typing stuff in the private chat. Okay. All right. So I've got a message in there right now for you too, by the way. This 1, 2, and 3 is all it is. So my number 4 team, I still don't have Ohio State. I tried not to be a homer. My number 4 team is Oregon. Who's your number 4 team?
Nah, I don't have them that high. Ole Miss, who had 3. I have Ole Miss number 4. Yeah.
All right.
They were very impressive in the playoff.
They were. It's why I put them at number 3. But I also thought that Dan Lanning got the most out of those guys as far as Oregon went. And he's been there really strong for the past 2 or 3 years in a row. So I gave him a little bump because of that. So Oregon number 4 for me. Number 5, I finally put Ohio State in. Ohio State is number 5 for me. How about your number 5, Cheese?
Number 5, I put Georgia. They lost to Ole Miss. It was a close game, but yeah, Georgia number 5.
Okay, so I put Georgia at 6. Not a real surprise here. I mean, this is pretty typical, right? Indiana, Miami, Ole Miss, Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia. For me, same teams, just in a little different order for each of us. Right. I think this is where it might change a little bit. Who do you have for number 6 as well?
No, this is not where it's going to change. It's going to change next. But I have Oregon 6. So yeah,
okay.
Oregon did make the Final Four. Yeah, I put them 6. They weren't too impressive. I don't think they were a top 5 team, but yeah, Oregon still is good enough to be 6. So yeah, we'll see what happens now after that, because I have 2 teams in my top 10 that did not make the college football playoff. I'll say that.
Yeah, so do I. I have 2.
Okay, Duke, right?
Yes, Duke.
Yes, you love Duke. Okay.
I do. You're so lucky every week that I can't come through this microphone and just choke you. Okay.
Well, no, anyone doesn't know the inside joke?
Mm-hmm.
We did a college football preview, and
Mike, I tell everybody. So go ahead.
No, this is good for you. We said who was a sleeper in the ACC, and he said Duke, and I just made fun of him so bad for that. I thought it was the dumbest pick, and then they won the ACC. He was right. They beat Virginia in the ACC title game. Miami did not play in the game, though. But still, the fact that he said Duke, I thought it was one of the dumbest picks. And they won the ACC somehow. So there you go, Mike. You got the ACC right. Okay.
All right. So Indiana, Miami, Ole Miss, Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia. My number 7 team, the Double T's, Texas Tech, comes in at number 7.
More on them in a second.
Okay.
My number 7 was Notre Dame. They did not make the playoff. I thought they should have, but they could have done some damage. They were playing well at the end of the year. We'll never know, but number 7, Notre Dame.
I'm getting your chat notes over here. This is pretty funny. If only everybody else could see what we're chatting to each other back and forth. This is pretty good. Okay. So Texas Tech for me is number 7. I put Texas A&M at number 8.
Almost. We'll talk about them in a second. Number 8, Texas Tech. You had them 7. I had them 8. Okay. The offense, you just let them down, but their defense was incredible.
And that's what happens when you put a whole bunch of money into NIL. And when there's a few teams that we're going to see if that works for them this upcoming season, like Ole Miss. Or no, I'm sorry, LSU, because Lane Kiffin went over there. So we'll see if LSU can rebound by pumping a bunch of money into it, because that's what they're going to do.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I've got two teams left, 9 and 10, and these are my two teams that did not make the college football playoff. I'm going to put BYU at number 9. Okay. I really like them. I like their story behind it. I love their coach, and I thought they did really well as far as that they beat the teams they were supposed to beat. They just ran into a team or two that were a little bit better than they are, and that's why they're not in the top 5. They're down at number 9.
They ran into one team that was better than them.
Well, that's true.
They only lost to one team. They lost to Texas Tech twice. Terrible matchup for them. They could not move the ball on that Texas Tech defense. We might have the exact same 10 teams, but different order. My number 9 is Texas A&M. You had them 8. I think you just talked about who I'm putting at 10. But, yeah, Texas A&M, they're a talented team. They're the team that could beat anyone but lose to, like, anyone. They found a way to win so many close games, and they only scored 3 against Miami in the playoff, but still a very, very good team. But 9, Texas A&M. All
right, and then I struggled with this one. I almost put Utah here, but I decided not to. I went with Notre Dame at number 10. So it was honestly, it was a really hard decision for me. I went through and looked at a bunch of different numbers, but I decided to go with Notre Dame just because they went on a run. They lost those first 2 games, really, really good teams, and then they went on that run. So because they went on the run, I gave them a little bit of a bump. I put them at 10. If there would have been 11, Utah would have been there.
I had BYU at 10, so we had the exact same teams, different order. Yes, BYU, like we just said, they just had really so much trouble with Texas Tech, beat everybody else. Hey, did you forget to ask me what prospect in the game improved their draft?
You know what? I did. You're right. So
again, ladies and gentlemen, ask this. Be prepared.
I know. So I did. I messaged him last night, and I was like, "Be prepared for this question because it's coming." And then I screwed it up and didn't ask him. I had to do it on my notes over here even and still didn't do it. So go ahead, buddy. Tell us. We're going to close this out here, and you tell us who you thought whose draft stock rose in the college football playoff game last night.
Well, early on, I'm thinking maybe Elijah Surratt, the wide receiver, Indiana. Then he had a terrible drop. I don't think he did anything to jump off the page. I think he's a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Very good receiver. But this is easy. Akeem Mesidor, defensive end from Miami. Everyone talks about Ruben Bate, but Mesidor was as disruptive as Bate off the edge, the other edge rusher. He was incredible. And the offensive tackle for Indiana, his draft stock got hurt because Mesidor destroyed him, that left tackle for Indiana. So Akeem Mesidor, I think he's going to be another 1st-round pick. I think both edge rushers. I think he went from maybe borderline top 50 pick to maybe going in the 1st round. Edge rusher for Miami. He had an incredible game for the Hurricanes.
I'm going to go the other side. There was a guy on Indiana who I knew about, but I focused on during the game because you've got me doing this kind of stuff now. You've got me watching offensive line, defensive line, stuff like this. Man, the center for Indiana impressed me yesterday. I know he missed a couple things when there was the one play where they ran the guy right up the gut at him and he had to choose between 2 guys. It's like, you can't block both of them, and he ended up getting the sack and everything else. But I thought overall he did a really good job. And I still think, as we talked about earlier, man, the running back for Miami needs to go to the NFL draft. He needs to declare and not go back for his senior season as well.
Yeah, Pat Coogan is the center for Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the offensive tackle for Indiana that I thought I had it up. That got destroyed. Carter Smith. I thought he was like a 3rd or 4th round pick. Ooh, he looked bad. So his draft stock might have been the most hurt. But yeah, Pat Coogan, center for Indiana. Definitely legit prospect.
All right. So you guys tell us in the comments. Go to All Gloves Off SM on our X account. Tell us who you thought elevated themselves, or maybe their stock dropped in the game last night. And then by all means, tell us if we were right, tell us if we were wrong. Give us your top 10 now that the college football season is over. And everyone who does so, everyone who does it on our social media platform X at All Gloves Off SM, we will repost it, and then we'll have a conversation back and forth. Let's try to get something going between all of us football fans as the college football season comes to a close. Cheese, is there anything you want to say before this episode of the Lights Out Sports Podcast comes to a close?
Just that we are going to preview the Broncos-Patriots game and the Seahawks-Rams game, okay? 1 o'clock Eastern, 11 Pacific. We'll start about 2 hours before the game. We're going to go live, and we'll break down. We'll do predictions. We'll do all of that. And so make sure you check that out. And like I said, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you are alerted when we go live.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. We certainly appreciate you. Thank you very much for being with us, not only to Cheese, but to all of our great fans watching either live or on tape.
I knew that Lauren Cripson was that Bears fan that's always on my channel. I knew that was him. I knew it was that Bears guy. Anyway.
That's all right. He loves you, buddy.
Bears had a great year.
Did that really hurt you to say, by the way? Did that hurt you?
No, they had a great year. They won the division. They got to play the Raiders, so that helps. But no, they had a really good year, and they have a good head coach.
Interesting. Coming from the Packers guy. All right. Well, if there is a better way to end the show, I don't know what it is. The Packers guy giving credit to the Bears fans and the coaches and the players and that team, even though, they're not in the Final Four, which I'm sure delights them at least a little bit. So, as we always say at the end of every one of these podcasts, we appreciate you. We thank you. Go to our YouTube. We're doing a lot of shorts right now. If that's what kind of person you are, you're stressed for time and you want a 1 or 2 minute piece, well, we've got a bunch of those coming up as well. So go over there and look at all of those. Make sure you go to Cheese's channel and see all his videos. He will do more than likely about 1 a day. So he's going to keep you going with some great football content. And as we always say at the end of these spots, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base lines. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all very much.